Welcome to the Saturday Sports Line. Since 1969, the premier sports show about local high school sports, featuring coaches, players, and special guests. Now, here is your host of the Saturday Sports Line, Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI Sports Director, Mitch Columbi, and sports analyst, Chris McGowan.
Be the end of the ball game. The North Judson-San Pierre Blue Jays beat their historic cross-county rival, the Knox Redskins, 42-21. They avenged their 2023 loss in Knox last year and take back the bragging rights of Stark County here in this one tonight. And a good Saturday morning to you, live and on location from Chesapeake Golf Club. I have with us our sports analyst, Chris McGowan, on a bright and sunny Saturday morning. Good morning, Chris. Welcome back.
Oh, back in the saddle, baby. Gotta love it.
We are back in the saddle, and man, did we see quite a ball game last night. My goodness.
Yeah, two very good football teams, two very good offenses last night. And it was just, I kept saying it during the broadcast, it's going to come down to which defense can make enough stops, and that's exactly what happened. But again, just I think both teams, like we said in the video that we just made to promote the show, both teams benefited from that last night. That was a semi-state atmosphere in week one, and again, I think both teams are going to be better because of it as long as they come out healthy. And I'm there are going to be a lot of sore kids this morning.
Oh, my gosh, yes. And to have that game in week one, man, got to put your heart on the line when you go up against the Knox Redskins, or if you're the Redskins going up against the Blue Jays. Quite an impressive game it was last night. We look around our other area schools. The Winamac Warriors were in their own big-time cross-county battle as they took on the West Central Trojans. Man, the Winamac Warriors ended up beating the Trojans 24-16. Of course, we heard live updates from our sideline reporter Justin Ruff on location. He was able to keep us up to speed so that we could somewhat kind of still cover both of our area's biggest rivalries. To have these two games in week one, what do we have to look forward to now?
North Judson-LaVille.
Absolutely. And it's a good thing you bring that up, because we're going to send you to LaVille next week. I've been given the okay from Athletic Director Will Hostrauser. He says he'd be more than happy to have us. So you're going to be roaming the sidelines in LaVille next week, giving us up-to-date, live and in-the-moment reports. Very exciting there as we're following the Blue Jays next week. We see the Culver Cavaliers last night. Man, this made me feel good this morning. 42-0 as they beat Attica. They start off 1-0, Chris.
Yeah, again, like we said last night, Culver the last couple of years, really young. But how many times they've had a running clock put on them to be able to put a running clock on somebody last night. Attica, that's a heck of a long ride that they had to take last night to come up short, but give Coach Foust and his staff credit to keep plugging away and get that first victory.
Well, they made it happen as well as also did the South Central Sat. I'm still waking up, Chris. I had maybe 2.5 hours of sleep, so you're going to have to bear with me here. Maybe tap me on the shoulder to keep me awake.
Well, I'm just glad you showed up.
Yes.
Last year at the Knox North Judson, me, Coach Lambert, Coach Burgess, and Coach Radtke are in the control room at the station trying to figure out how to go live. I wish we could have had a camera just to record that.
Yeah, that was a rough day. It was
the blind leading the blind.
Well, luckily we have you trained now, so you're good to go at the studio. This is our first Saturday Sports Line on the road. We've actually never done this before, so I was a little nervous here, but we'll see how this thing rolls. The South Central Satellites came away with a huge win as well. They beat Bowman Academy 48-14. You got to feel good for head coach Buzz Schoff.
Yeah, the last couple of seasons, him coming in every week to talk about, I hate to say it, but more injuries. I mean, the last couple of seasons for South Central, what they've gone through with the injury bug, hopefully this year, it kind of skips them a little bit. So we'll find out later how they came out of the game health-wise. But again, a good start to them. got a lot of area teams starting out 1-0. You got to like it.
Oh, yes. And not only that, but I wanted to go over some other sports real quick that are going on in our area. A lot of sports are already underway. Golf, volleyball. Wanted to bring up this girls soccer from Culver. A.J. Neese, head coach A.J. Neese, cracked his 50th career win. He hasn't been there for very long. I just wanted to give a shout out to A.J. Neese. 50 career wins in just that short amount of time. He has had an amazing few years there. He always seems to have a really good goal scorer, and it looks like after Giselle Villegas graduated last year, he has someone else coming along, and he says, it looks like I may have an Athlete of the Week nomination for you the next few weeks. So head coach A.J. Neese, congratulations on that 50th career win as a head coach from Culver. We've talked about volleyball. The Culver Lady Cavs volleyball team is underway. The South Central Lady volleyball team has also been doing very well. But I wanted to bring this up about last night. There was an interesting bet that was made by the Knox City Council and the North Judson Town Council. I don't know if you had heard about this.
I have not.
But as you know, being in the news department, I go to these meetings, and the mayor of Knox, Mayor Dennis Eastock, had gotten with the North Judson Town Council, and they placed a bet. Of course, the Knox City Council bet to have the Knox Redskins win, and North Judson Town Council bet to have the Blue Jays win. Now the loser has to wear the other team's T-shirts. So they're getting their sizes made. So the Knox City Council is going to have to wear Blue Jay T-shirts at their next meeting. I'm going to have to get a picture of that.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. I had a side bet last night as I was coming down the bleachers a little bit. I won't get into it, but John Conroy, got to give him a shout out. He paid up last night after the game. So, but again, it was a nice side bet. And that's what makes that's what makes this rivalry even better. Just how close the people are,
right,
in the communities. For that time, that 48 minutes, there's a lot of hate, whatever, but afterwards, it's
it's all fun.
It's all fun, and it makes it special for the kids. But again, last night at the end of the game, there's still 20-some seconds left or whatever, and you start just seeing the Knox kids and the Judson kids shaking hands and hugging each other. Just a hard-fought football game on both sides, and like I said, there are going to be a lot of ice baths this morning. I was talking to Kole Wilcox.
Yeah, he's already here golfing.
He's here on the golf course helping with the golf outing, and he was already looking at me and he goes, "Man, your brother's having a pool workout at 8:30 this morning." Oh my God! But just like I said, just a great game, great atmosphere, a lot of fun to be a part of, and. I go back to my senior year. Coach Lambert's brother, him and I played together. We played Knox week 1, and I tell you what, it makes you, the first 2 weeks of the football season, it makes you really focus when you know that you've got your biggest rival in game 1.
No, absolutely. Well, we have the man of the hour right now here for our first interview of today. It is Brett Lambert, head coach of the. Well, you got something else.
Well, I was just going to say, and I said it last night, and we're going to get into this with Coach Lambert, but you talked about how early on in that game how clean it was.
Yeah.
But you're looking at two teams that had an extra 5 or 6 weeks of practice last year.
Yeah.
So. That makes all the difference in the world. And in the case of North Judson, I mean, semi-state. I mean, they've had 3 years of about 15, 16 extra weeks of practice. And people, you don't understand how important that is.
No, absolutely. And then head coach Russ Radtke kind of told me that in the standard plumbing, heating, and air conditioning practice report earlier this week. He said now the rest of the way you only get 4 days to prepare. The fact that these guys had this much time to prepare for each other, I think that's why it provided a great game last night. Coach, welcome aboard. First Saturday Sports Line on the road. Welcome to Chesapeake Club Golf Course? Golf Club. Welcome.
Hey, it's nice to be here. Actually, just the view right now is pretty awesome to look at, and it's peaceful to kind of sit here and relax. I haven't had a whole lot of peacefulness over the past, I don't know how many weeks.
Did you get any sleep last night?
Not bad for a Friday night. I think I got 3 hours.
Okay.
So I'll take that. But yeah, it was just a great atmosphere last night, and like I said, it's pretty cool that the golf course is letting this happen here and just being able to sit here with you guys. So it feels good to sit here with the victory.
So, what was going into last night? We talked a little bit in the pregame or the preseason show, but we really didn't get into too much X's and O's. But once you exchanged that film with Knox, what was your, other than Conroy and McLaughlin, everybody knows about them, what was your biggest concern going into last night? Was it you more concerned about Knox, or were you more concerned about yourself?
Well, I mean, to be honest with you, the film didn't mean anything because it was a Whiting scrimmage film, wasn't very good film. It's a scrimmage.
Right.
So that's the thing about having a week one game with Knox is, we're going back to the past films. I barely watched any of the Whiting scrimmage that they had. It was all about last year's game and really the previous years before that. And again, you can accumulate a lot of films over the years. So we watched other stuff. But I felt like going back to last year, I thought we had a lot of missed opportunities, and a lot of it wasn't, just like missed opportunities based on the players, but just I thought that maybe there were some calls I should have made last year against them that I didn't. I've had a lot of time to think about it, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
And again, with this being game one, I mean, we have a countdown clock that we keep in the weight room in the off season, and for whatever, ever since the Adams Central game, 200 and whatever days, it said Knox on it. So mentally, I mean, we were focused on these guys. Again, the preparation's been going on forever. But I'm going to be honest too. You're talking about this, like Russ said. Now you get 4 days to prepare for opponents. Well, you also get the off season to kind of prepare for some of those other teams too. So I'm not jumping ahead here. I want to talk about the Knox game, but we've been preparing for LaVille for a good part of the summer as well. So because we know that's a team we got this week, and also that could be a team that could keep us from getting hardware. In the sectionals. So again, the preparation's been there, and again, the scrimmage film, heck, we could have thrown that away.
Right, yeah.
So talk about the injuries. There were several injuries on both sides of the field. How is the health this morning? Do you know the update on some of the guys that just cramps?
It wasn't injuries. Like what you see in a lot of early season games, you got a humidity out there and kids that just aren't used to playing a real live, intense game. So it was really just cramping. One time Josiah got the wind knocked out of him. It landed on the football, went right in his gut, so he's having a little trouble breathing for a little bit there. He was going to jump up real fast, and I said, Josiah, keep laying there, because Javen needs to get some snaps over there. So you just lay there a little bit longer and catch your breath.
Gamesmanship, I love it.
Because Josiah doesn't want to lay on the ground. He doesn't want to lay out there. He's a tough guy.
And he walked off on his own power.
He did, but yeah, there was definitely cramping out there, and just back to you said about injuries, the soreness. I mean, these kids are all sore today. They are going to get. We don't normally do a Saturday morning pool workout, but we're going to get them loosened up in the pool.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So that's not a normal thing for us, but it's just they earned it. Of course, I don't know if they actually like it. I think they kind of don't like it because Danny's going to have them in there. They're not going to like it when it's done, I don't think. But no, just for the whole game, the whole night, the build-up, everything involved with it, having, the 1984 team back there. And, we do that because, we want to – we talk about, we play for those who came before. We set the standard for those who follow. So we're not going to forget the history of Blue Jay football. I mean, we try to thrive off that. We also do it, though, to go back to what I was about to say, that, with Russ being at Knox, even though he doesn't really want anything to probably do with that, but I think it's just kind of cool that some of the teams that he's coached can come back, and even if he's in the wrong colors, they can still, see him there. David Haw going in the Hall of Fame.
Yes.
I mean, David Haw is just a great guy, and he's somebody who's been supportive of me since I've gotten the job. I'll get a text here and there from
That's
him.
cool.
He's just a really good guy, and he's really made something of himself, and he did back in high school, college, and all the way through what he's doing now. So that was a cool thing. I'm just really pleased with how things went on the field, and it was just a great atmosphere. I can't say it enough.
Is there anything that you can share with us that you remember going through last night that you were surprised about, or anything that you were like, wow, this is week one, we're already in this? Was there anything last night you can share with us that was maybe kind of special?
Oh, man.
Besides what you just said.
I mean, like you prepare for this stuff, and you watch the film, like I said, and you think to yourself, man, I know who we have, and Knox has a really good football team, but I know who we have on our side and what we could do scheme-wise, and I really thought we could run the football against them. And not just them. I think we can run the football all year, but I thought we could run the football against Knox, and we did. And, if anything really stopped us last night, it was ourselves, and with a lot of penalties. And I'm not saying the penalties didn't happen. I'm not going to go that route. But, penalties really kind of hurt us at times. But no, we ran the ball with conviction, and we passed the ball not a lot, but we had a couple. We completed our first 2 passes, and I thought those were just nice balls by Josiah, because I really do feel like Josiah's improved a lot with that. I'm going to give you something, actually, now that I talk long enough. So there was a play we wanted to run. We didn't run the play at all last night. I'm not going to say what the play was, but I called it 10 times.
In a row?
No, not in a row, but I called a certain play 10 times. I wanted to run this play, but every time I called the play, they came in a defense or something that didn't work against it. So what did Josiah do? He audibled. And what did he do? He put us in the right play. And that is something that he, was starting to do at the end of last year, but he was not doing, probably the way I would have wanted early in the year last year, first year playing quarterback. So he put us in a great position. And again, I called a certain play, which would have been a great play against a certain front.
Right.
But they kept mixing their fronts up. Good for them. But he got us in the right play, and it was that was very encouraging as we move forward, that you have that coach on the field now that I can just say, hey, you got it, Josiah. I'm not going to do that.
Wow.
Sorry, Josiah. I'm not going to give you the reins. But I know he can put us in probably the best play in that moment.
He read it well.
Yeah, he knows how I think, and of course that's a little bit scary. But he knows how I think, and he's getting after it and doing what I would want to do.
And that's kind of who you want being your quarterback.
Oh, that's absolutely right. That's for sure.
Like I said, the entire atmosphere just last night was absolutely amazing, and your kids, you could tell in pregame, in the warm-ups, just the focus. They were there to get a job done, and then they came out and they got the job done. Was there anybody that surprised you with their performance last night? And that's kind of hard because you have so many returning starters, both offense and defense. Was there anybody last night that you were pleasantly surprised with how they performed on a big stage?
To be honest with you, I'll talk about some guys here. I'll move your question a little bit here. I mean, we have the utmost confidence in the guys we're putting out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't think we've got so many guys of experience. I don't think it's a thing that I don't know if this guy can get it done. No, I think we feel confident the guys that can get it done. But I just like the fact that, I'm going to just mention the seniors. The seniors I felt have been just locked in, and because they've been locked in, since day one, going back to the 1st of June, and even probably before that, the underclassmen are just following suit. So when you have, Wilcox and McDaniel, Kozikar, you got on the line, some names we don't mention as much, but like Tegan Hampton, Harley Boggs starting the line. I mean, they got it done. I'm not worried. I'm not like, okay, I got to call this play to the right because I can't get it done on the left, on the side of the line. No, I trust everybody out there. They're going to do what they're supposed to do. Braden Staten's a guy. He actually got banged up in the scrimmage. He dressed last night. He didn't actually, because he's a starter for us, but he didn't play. I wanted to get him in for a play, but we did put him in shoulder pads and stuff because I wanted to get him in the picture after we won the game with our senior picture. So I had him dressed. But he's been great. Trey McGowan. Trey's moved to a lot more tight end this year for us, and Trey's was blocking just fantastic. He's been working with the line coaches. I really think Trey, showed a lot last night. I think he's going to have a great year. I don't know if I mentioned Brock yet. That group of seniors is really, they made it so it felt like last night was a continuation of where we left off against Adams Central. Instead of starting over with a new season, we just continued from there, which is pretty nice because now we can just build off of that. And again, the Knox kids, it was just I mean, they brought it at us. I mean, we all know who McLaughlin is and Conroy. I mean, those guys are legit football players, but the other guys they got with them play so hard and they block so hard and they understand what Coach Radtke wants to accomplish. But our guys stepped up and did what they had to do to beat them, and it was just it was a great night. And again, the atmosphere, I don't look around, guys. I really don't. So you could have told me that there was 500 people there or 10,000. I probably wouldn't have known the difference. But I could just there was a few times I could hear it.
You could hear it.
It was pretty awesome. And especially, I know, just a shout out, I felt like the student section for us was just awesome. I mean, and I think that's something that's been hit or miss over the years. And I just hope that they continue to come out and support us and all the fans, because the players work so hard to get that support, and they really deserve it. And again, it was just I've said it 15 times already in this interview, but just the atmosphere last night was spectacular.
Okay, all right. So last night after the game, I'm standing there, we're wrapping up the show, and you come walking by me with a big old smile on your face, and well, that was a lot of fun. Now on to LaVille. So what do you know about the Lancers? What do you know about the Lancers?
I haven't even watched anything on them yet. But I've watched stuff from the past, and I'm assuming defensively they're going to be in a 3-4 and with mixing in a little 4-man front on us. They had a game last night where they lost to Triton. Again, I haven't watched it yet, but I think fans are going to be like, oh, Judson beat Knox and Triton, beat LaVille. That's going to be an easy game, and that's craziness. That's crazy talk. We've lost the last 2 games to LaVille. They only lost about, I think, 5 seniors from last year. Now, granted, 3 or 4 of those guys were very good. Yeah. They were. But they got a lot of guys back. They have an awesome staff. So I don't know what exactly had happened last night, but I guarantee that their coach is going to be working on getting it fixed. But what do we have to do? We have to build on last night, right. Not just be happy with what happened. We have to build on it and know that LaVille is a team that, like I said at the beginning of the show, that could keep us from moving on in the playoffs. So we got to come out and let them know what Blue Jay football is all about.
Yeah, I think the biggest concern would be, the big game and having that letdown the next week. I think that's probably the biggest concern going in. Now, it's helpful that, hey, this is a sectional opponent. They're good. They beat us last year.
Well, so let's go back to 2 years ago when we were both 7-0 in Week 8, and we lost in overtime on a remake of the Bush Push. If you guys are Notre Dame fans or USC, so there's. I didn't forget that.
Right.
I'll tell you that right now.
Right.
And if you again, I think I started the show with this. I mean, my mind. I don't know if this is going to sound good or not. My mind, when
we're on the road.
When we get the sectional draw, which we got that in the spring, I instantly get a target, and LaVille has that target, and that's a compliment to them,
right?
Because I know that they're a good program. I know what they've done to us, so. I've thought about LaVille more than I've thought about Knox this offseason.
Wow!
And so just to get that out there, because I know what LaVille's capable. I know what Knox is capable of. But I know LaVille can be 2 games. So I know what LaVille's capable of and how good they can be and how good their staff is. So if we're not ready to go, I'm going to be extremely disappointed. And I don't think that's going to be an issue.
Well, and we remember that game last year. Of course, we were there for that. I mean,
we spotted them 9 points in the first couple minutes. Yeah.
And I mean, you even had that goal line stand at one point. I mean, everything looked like it was going to be your night. So, like you said, the target now is on LaVille, and you want to make sure that your boys are ready next Friday. One thing I wanted to mention, though, is a comment I've noticed just in Stark County in general. I said this on the air last night. How many former players I saw from North Judson as well as Knox. And when I went to school, I never went back. When I graduated, I never went back. And that's not to say I didn't have pride in my school, but I don't think I had as much pride as people that go to school here in Stark County. I mean, you could count it. I mean, so I saw Cheyenne Allen there last night. He graduated 2 years ago. So, I mean, the fact that these former players want to come back and see.
Well, let me
Yeah.
not to cut you off. Let me take that a step further. I mean, look at the coaching staff that we have. I mean, the North Judson coaching staff is, for the most part, former Blue Jays, and then we brought in a couple Redskins as well. I'm about to make a comment. So yeah, I mean, I think we have pride in the community. We have pride in the athletic program, and we just want to give the kids the best opportunity that we can. And again, and every coach knows this. Chris knows this. I mean, I'm not doing this for the money because, gosh darn, I could do a lot of other stuff and probably be financially a lot better off
And a lot less stress.
Absolutely, yeah. Because I'm sure every fan there last night agreed with everything I did. But of course, today everything's all right.
That's a W. That's why I'm sitting over here now.
But
And I'm bald.
But no, it's just there's a lot of pride in just with both teams being as good as we've been the last few years. I think that's just it really adds to what we saw last night. Just the overall. I'm going to use the word atmosphere for the 15th time in the show, but that's what it was last night. It was just
sure.
And that is going. Knox lost the game last night, of course, but this game. I mean, if we would have lost the game, it still would have benefited us. It's going to benefit them just to play in that environment. It's something you can't simulate. You can't turn the music up on a Thursday practice and simulate that. You got to be in a game like that. And I think what could benefit us if we're lucky enough to keep moving through the playoffs and maybe get a big game with LaVille or something. Just being able to play in that type of crowd environment, it's gonna pay dividends. I really believe.
Big game for Kole Wilcox.
Yes. I mean, so many guys had a big game.
Yeah.
And Wilcox just. Last year, I thought he had some injuries early on that really hindered him. Because I thought he could do a little bit of this last year. But again, like I said, the injuries kind of hurt him a little bit. But boy, was he just running awesome. And there was that on that 91-yard run. That was a lot of hard effort. I mean, he showed that he's not just a bulked up, muscle guy. He's got some speed to him too.
He does.
But he put his hand down on the ground and grabbed grass. He almost got knocked off balance. He put his hand on the ground, grabbed the grass, and then kept his balance and kept running on that play. And I talked to Coach Hampton afterwards, and Hampton goes, that's what we've been doing in practice. We've been doing that ball handling drill, balance drill in practice, and we've been doing it, probably done it 5-6 times since the start of camp in August. And here it was to see that show up in a game. Something that you work on, and just to see that show up on a Friday night, it was so cool. But I'm going to throw it out. What's cool about Wilcox getting those yards, Brock Benson, who Brock might by the end of the year end up being our all-time leading rusher.
And that's what he said last night on the air. I was going to ask.
And Brock had 84 yards, had a good game. I mean, Josiah had about 80 yards rushing, had a good game rushing. And it's probably going to go back and forth between these guys. But Brock was making blocks for Kole. Brock wasn't like, I'm not getting the ball. That's not the mentality. He has improved on his blocking so much, and Kole is going to reap the benefits of that and everybody else. And then what's going to happen, guess what? Teams are preparing, not just for Brock and maybe Josiah. Now we got this other guy. Who's this Wilcox guy now? So then that's going to turn around. Now Brock's going to be maybe the guy.
Right.
So
don't know who to keep your eye on.
Yeah, and guys, Grayson McDaniel can run the football. He only ran a couple times last night, but I'm telling you, he can run the ball. Logan Pracky can run the ball. Aiden Christensen can run the ball. So we got other guys, but I didn't feel like they were quite seasoned enough to be carrying the ball in a Knox-Judson opening game last night. But as we move through the season, those guys are going to see carries as well.
You almost had that touchdown in the far left corner. Brody Bridegroom had a great route, almost had it.
Absolutely.
And he stands right next to you, I noticed. You guys kind of talk there. You're talking with the wide receivers.
Well, he wants to get in the game.
That's how it works. You need somebody that's usually the first guy standing right next to the coach.
You guys notice I yell and scream sometimes on the sideline. I get a little worked up. And if I'm going for a receiver, he knows he better be in my hip pocket. Yeah, he's not dumb. He's not a dumb guy.
It was so close, so close. Well, Coach, what a win last night, 42-21. Did you see it coming out that way, or did you think it would?
I don't know if it's good to. Every coach hopes it'll happen that way. I thought we could put up some points, and I have faith in our team. I really thought we could do some good things, and I'm just glad it turned out the way it did. And just last shout out, the coaching staff at Judson. We got Danny calling the defense, John Hampton, Matt Wright, Alvin Harper, Tyler Singleton, Robert Scheidler. Brian Orcus comes and helps us out when he doesn't have his principal duties. That's just a great staff, and they help make the kids look good, and they definitely make me look good. I can just stand and blow my whistle sometimes, and they can coach their butts off. So, those guys are awesome, and they get it done for us.
Well, Coach, thanks for coming to our first remote broadcast for the Saturday Sports. I'm sure you've done remote broadcasts before my tenure here.
This is pretty unique. I like this. I like the view.
Because I've been told they've done Saturday Sports Lines on the road before.
I don't know if I have. Maybe other people have, but not sure. I have.
Well, this is fun. I'm glad we were able to do this today.
Yeah, thank you very much.
And and what this is, there's golfing to raise money for the Blue Jay boys basketball team. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Absolutely. Yeah, this is a basketball fundraiser. I think they've done this for years now. Chris probably knows better than me on that.
Yeah. Well, it used to be the Blue Jay football golf outing, and then basketball took it over.
Yeah.
And basketball took it over, so
raising some money, we invite everyone to come to Chesapeake Golf Club and join the Blue Jays, raise some money for them. And, man, Coach, this was great. I appreciate you coming out. I know you got to get to work, so I'll let you get going.
All right. Hey, I appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
All right, that is head coach of the Judson-San Pierre Blue Jays here on the Saturday Sports Line. We're on the road. I'm pushing buttons I shouldn't be. We've got a lot of work to do today, folks. We're going to talk with head coach of the Knox Redskins, Russ Radtke. He's on the other side. Hey, Chris and I, we're back in the saddle again, baby. Little Aerosmith coming your way. We're going to play highlights from last night's game. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to the longest-running high school sports show in Indiana. Will take it under center. Brock Benson in the backfield. Takes the snap. Hands off Benson. Bulldozing his way forward to the 26. And that's the dose of Brock Benson we are very used to seeing. It's the rivalry nobody misses. Miles McLaughlin takes the snap, hands off. Conroy's got a lot of space. He's going to break away to the 30, to the 25, 20, 15, 10, 5. It's a Knox Redskin touchdown. The Redskins strike first. 6-0 here at Liberty Field.
Thanks, Coach. I know. Well, we're still getting in the swing of things.
Coke Zero is now Coke Zero Sugar, with great Coke taste. Some people were excited to hear the news. Some were skeptical. So we're not going to have the star of the show you're watching come out and say, "You'll love it." No special jingle written by this week's hottest pop star. No famous internet celebs who happen to be holding the label just so. Okay, maybe just one little pour shot. The only thing that will make you believe Coke Zero Sugar has great Coke taste is trying it yourself. Ice cold Coke Zero Sugar. Try one today.
Stay tuned for more sports talk with Mitch Columbi and Chris McGowan on the longest-running high school sports show in Indiana, the Saturday Sports Line.
The Stark County Co-op has been a member-owned farm services co-op in Stark County since 1928. That's over 90 years, and they're still providing the same quality agronomy services to the farming community of Stark and surrounding counties. The Stark County Co-op is an LP and fuel provider. The Stark County Co-op purchases grain at both locations, Hamlet and Brems. You can reach them by phone at 1-800-782-3392.
Pulaski Memorial Hospital. Quality care closer to home. Pulaski Memorial Hospital is all about community and keeping our community spotlight shining on the accomplishments of our youth. That's why PMH is proud to be a sponsor of our local high school sports action on WKVI, our community radio station. Pulaski Memorial Hospital. Quality care closer to home.
Let's continue the conversation with area high school coaches and more on the Saturday Sports Line.
McLaughlin takes the snap. He's going to throw, and it's up to number 43, Kane Weber, wide open to the 15, 10, 5. Hits a Knox Redskin touchdown. Back for more here at Chesapeake Golf Club. I almost said Pulaski Memorial Hospital Studios. Of course, Pulaski Memorial Hospital, a very big sponsor of ours, and we give them a huge shout-out this morning. Big game last night. Tough loss for the Knox Redskins, but we have head coach Russ Radtke on the line to break this down. Coach, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
It's good to have you on, Coach. We appreciate you joining us. Let's start right off at the top. You guys got off to a really, really great start, Coach. You got that quick touchdown from Jake Conroy. Talk about that opening drive.
Well, it was a series of good offense for the players. They worked hard. As the game went along, things just didn't go our way with fumbles. And 3 turnovers, 2 fumbles, critical ones. One that could have been a touchdown for us, and then another one that we failed on an opportunity to get it in. So when you do that against 2 good teams, the team that doesn't have any turnovers usually wins.
Yeah, you mean you got off to work same way you did last year. We talked about it in the pregame show. Jake Conroy got a touchdown early last year. He gets a touchdown early this year. We saw a lot of similar action there on the offensive line, a lot of 8-man front. You used Miles McLaughlin a lot, and, man, did he have some moments. You kind of talked about it throughout the week that no matter win or loss, this was going to be a game that was good for you guys. What did you guys take away from last night? Is there anything that you've learned and you will use moving forward?
Well, of course, you always do, no matter if it's a win or a loss. I guess when it's a loss, it's just a bad taste in your mouth, so now you just got to get up and figure out how to spit that out, clean it out, get out, ready to play football again. And another good game was anticipated, and the results will be working to Knox's advantage. This is we're young in all reality. We the number of seniors we have and so forth that are put leadership and so forth. Great. When you can only put 3 to 4 seniors out there on defense, it can cause you some problems. Not that that was the only thing, but we played a very good team last night.
Coach, another thing I wanted to bring up was the simple fact that you got some pass plays in, and we just played that pass play to Kane Weber wide open, had all the space. Chris was talking down on the sidelines. You guys were kind of setting things up for that, and then just a few plays later, you made it happen for a big touchdown. Is that something we're going to see Miles do a little bit more this season, throwing the pigskin?
Well, it's a part of the game plan and necessity of their defensive secondaries coming in to make stops. We have to be able to connect on a lot more of them, though, because even in that drive that put us within, I believe, 8 or 9 at the end of the third quarter, and then we get a ball back and then driving back down to make it hopefully a 1-point ball game or whatever. There was another big pass that was completed to a back. So it's all part of the mechanisms, and the quarterback was not sacked, and I felt that he had good mechanics, and we'll use all these things to improve upon.
Injuries seem to be somewhat of an issue, especially cramps, but one in particular really hit hard to me was Tucker Burns. We had a chance to talk to him last year. Of course, he was a part of that amazing run last year and really is a good person for you guys on the inside. I talked about how strong of a man he is of faith, and he made that known in that interview last year. It was really hard to see Tucker go down last night. Can you give us an update at all if he's doing okay?
Well, Tucker never got hurt last night.
Who? Oh.
Tucker played the entire ballgame.
Oh, well, there was a lineman I must have gotten mixed up.
He's a good offensive player for us, and he's playing out as one of our offensive tackles now and as a guard. And as a result of that, he didn't have the greatest game in the world, but when he gets his mechanics down and finds a way to come down and do these things all the time, he'll be just fine. But he's definitely a junior of ours that played center all last year, that has been moved to the offensive lineman position with Hayden Smith coming in playing center this year for us. So overall, that's a good attitude by all those guys.
My apologies, Coach. I must have gotten players mixed up. I did see an O-lineman, or one of the linemen actually needed help off the field. I just wanted to make sure he was doing okay this morning. Sorry about that. I didn't know. I said on the air last night it was Tucker, and I was mistaken. So I want to let our listeners know that was my apologies there. But all in all, how is the health of the ball club this morning? Everything looking okay?
Well, we had gotten a young man hurt in a practice on Thursday night. That'll be back ready to go on Monday. That had to sit out last night because of that. Justin Aldridge. We hope to get him back this week. Dominic Triska did get twisted lower knee, and we held him out after that. And he had it iced up, and we'll see what happens this week after an evaluation.
You've got Pioneer next, Coach. What can you share with us you know about them at this time?
Well, they put a licking on somebody last night, Lewis Cass, and they're definitely a team that causes a lot of things for us. I just want to compliment North Judson. They're a very good team. They're a very good team, and they're strong, physical. They play hard and aggressive the entire time. We had our opportunities to score, but like I said, in a game like that, they had no turnovers, absolutely not. 2 chances for a couple fumble recovers, and they recover it. That's what you got to do. You're going to fumble, get back on the ball. A couple times in the backfield, we had a chance to get a snatch, and a couple of specialty teams. We will be able to complement that, but I would say that our opponent next week is Pioneer. We'll take on each team as we can to keep improving. And, what we were shown that we were weak in situations last night is something that can definitely be accomplished. I felt that our offensive line did a fantastic job of being able to get in and blocking as well as they did. You don't want to necessarily say that we keep nickel diming, getting 5, getting 4, getting 3. I believe we only had to punt twice. But 2 punts, 2 fumble recovers, and a pass interception. That's the difference. But still in that fourth quarter, we're down in the 15-yard line going in, and we're only down, I believe, 9. Is that right?
Yes, 30-21.
Yeah, because so we're right there. But overall, the team of 1 deserved the win.
You kind of brought up North Judson there, and I noticed you were down on the field congratulating David Hall. Talk about that moment, if you don't mind, real quick. It seemed like it was a special moment for you.
Well, it's definitely a special moment for any of those players, and the years that we were in North Judson were fantastic. David was there last night, being honored, I believe, with the '84 team or whatever.
Yes.
But that wasn't his senior class team.
Right.
David played in '85 as a senior. So they were just honoring a different team, and David at the same time, who's been now inducted into the Indiana Football Hall of Fame, which is fantastic. And these are all good moments. And, David, a very intelligent young man. His brother is too, Mike. There's Mike and David Hall. Their dad was a political influence of Stark County for many years. And that whole family is something fantastic. I always kidded his dad, who had passed away, that if there was ever an opportunity, that he should find a way to have a few more boys for us, and we would have even more fantastic football teams. But great person. He's the one that's out there in the media and the ability to talk and say things and confirm them, and why he went off to Ball State to be a journalist or whatever in that process, and then being able to develop through the South Bend, covering Notre Dame, and now in Chicago with the Bears, and then a talk show. He's just got he's a natural. So, but he's not the only one. So it's important that all those young men get credit for what they did.
Think you could introduce me, Coach?
There's no doubt about it that those were great years. I think at one time those teams had went like 35 or maybe even more home games and never lost.
Wow.
Through the tournament as well as through the regular season. It was definitely in the high 30s. So it was something that was expected. And, his junior year, they did play in a state championship, and they had gotten beat. But I believe that year they only had 4 or 5 seniors. When he was a junior, that team, that 84 team that was on her last night, that made it to the state championship, only had 4 or 5 seniors. Wow. It can get done in a lot of different ways.
Hey, Coach, I was told about keeping up with the Joneses going on Saturday, September 7th. I was told the boys, the football team, was going to help raise some money, a benefit for Philip Jones's father. I just wanted to bring that up with you on the air. I know he's had some trouble the last few months with his foot, but I think that's pretty cool that you guys are doing that. He gave me the flyer for it. I just wanted to bring that up with you on the air. But what's your message to Knox Redskin Nation here for week 2, the first home game of this season?
Yeah, Mr. Jones Sr. is a very important part of our family. It doesn't matter if you're the parent or the fan, the community. Hope we will come out and support that night to get some money to try to help out. Keeping up with the Joneses is a big story that night on Saturday, September 7th. And we look for a big crowd and an opportunity to have people have some fun out there. The rumor is wrong. I'm not wrestling that night. We definitely want to see everybody out of Washington Township. And, our fans were fantastic. Both fans were fantastic. I said, great community, great Stark County. A lot of fans from both situations that were there last night. And we're coming home, and we're playing at home this Friday night against Pioneer. And we're going to give it our best shot to try to get these boys resilient in the attitude of how to get these things done right. Because you're right there, as I said before, Coach, in so many of these games, when you give the ball back to them 5 times and still are within the opportunity of 9, you're a good team too. So all the best to North Judson. I hope to keep on moving right on down the line. And we're going to do our best to get Knox in that same type of level.
Well, thanks so much for your time this morning, Coach. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll talk soon.
Okay, take care.
All right, that is head coach Russ Radtke of the Knox Redskins here on the Saturday Sports Line. We appreciate his time as we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back, talk with West Central head football coach Marc. That's on the other side. Don't go anywhere.
Out in the country past the city limit sign where there's a honky tonk.
Miles McLaughlin in the shotgun, all alone in the backfield, breaks a tackle, crosses the 50, now to the 45 to the 40, now to the 35 to the 30, crosses over again, now to the 20, now to the 15, and he's finally brought down. That is a Miles McLaughlin run we have been waiting for, and we got it, Chris.
The Stark County Co-op has been a member-owned farm services co-op in Stark County since 1928. That's over 90 years, and they're still providing the same quality agronomy services to the farming community of Stark and surrounding counties. The Stark County Co-op is an LP and fuel provider. The Stark County Co-op purchases grain at both locations, Hamlet and Browns. You can reach them by phone at 1-800-782-3392, the Stark County Co-op.
It's hard to believe, but time sure does fly by. Collins Insurance Agency in downtown Knox are celebrating over 30 years of taking care of all of your insurance needs in our communities.
If I could turn back time.
And we're not going anywhere.
Stop in and see Jim and the crew at Collins Insurance Agency in downtown Knox.
Insurance you can count on from a business you've trusted since 1989.
Proud presidential partners of Western Reserve.
You're listening to Mitch Columbi and Chris McGowan on Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI.
And it is Brock Benson bulldozing his way forward. He gets the touchdown. 6 more points on the board. Back for more here at Chesapeake Golf Club. We are so glad to be on location for the first time in my tenure here at WKVI. We have a chance to talk with head coach of the West Central Trojans, Marc. I've got him on the line. They were in a big-time cross-county battle last night. Tough loss for the Trojans, 24-16. But, Coach, I'll be honest with you, our sideline reporter, Justin Ruff, said several times there was a lot of fight from your sideline. Give us your point of view.
Yeah, we played hard. We did a lot of good things. What we told them at the end of the game was we were happy with how they kept fighting. There was chances or times there where they could have just folded it, but we kept fighting to the end, and we had an even opportunity right at the end of the game to tie it and try to send it to overtime. We were down to 24-16 at one, or 24-8 at one point. And then ended up getting to 24-16, and then had a chance right at the end of the game where we got the ball, threw it to the end zone at the end of the game, and just didn't come up with it.
Yeah, and we kind of talked about it at the season preview show to have this game week 1. Man, that was tough because, both teams were going to give it their all when it's a historic rivalry like this. Did you guys get out unscathed? Were there any injuries? Was there any cramping going on last night?
Oh, yeah, we definitely had cramping. Third quarter, we started off the ball. We went down, got inside their 20. I think we took the first 6-7 minutes off the clock, but then we got down there, and like every play, we had so many cramps, so we were going out, getting people try to get out of cramps. Then next play, someone else would get a cramp, so our drive fell apart down there. I think there was like 3 or 4 plays in a row we had somebody with a cramp. So that's something we're going to have to hopefully they pay attention more when the coaches tell them, hey, we got to be hydrating all week because it's going to be even hotter next week. So hopefully that we can take care of that. And we do get some kids back next week that will be eligible because they didn't have enough practices in this week.
Good.
So we'll have a little more depth next week, hopefully, and hopefully that will help out with some of that cramping, and we can get some guys a little more breaks in there. But again, the kids fought hard. They played really hard all the way to the end. On offense, Dre Villarreal had a great game for us. He had 22 carries for 177 yards and 2 touchdowns and 2 two-point conversions. He had another 2 carries that would have gone for close to 80 yards that got called back for penalties that, watching it on film, they're kind of questionable, but they were thrown. And then defensively, he led us with 13 tackles, so he was all over the place last night for us. Even had fumble recovery late in the game to give us another shot to get in the end zone. But he played his butt off last night for us, and I did a great job. Johnny Rao on defense added in another 11 tackles, so our 2 middle backers, Dre had 13 and Johnny had 11. They were just flying around for us, which is what we need out of those guys. Then up front, defensively, we didn't have a whole lot of subs last night because we only had 6 linemen dressed for the game. So we do hopefully get a couple more healthy this week, or that are not healthy, but getting back for have enough practices this week. So hopefully that helps out with getting some guys some rest up there, because our defensive line at some points were pretty gassed at especially in that third quarter. But the fourth quarter, we came back, and I thought we did really well in that fourth quarter to get back in it. We went down and got that touchdown, and then I had 2 times where we were down there and just didn't come up with anything. One time we turned it over on downs, and then the other one was end of the game was kind of crazy. We threw an interception.
Yeah, we were updated on this.
We forced a fumble and then recovered it with 2.3 seconds left. So it was, and then we had a chance to throw it to the end zone. We just didn't get it. So we had opportunities there. We didn't come away with it. Again, the big thing, the positive here is we fought all the way to the end, played hard. We forced 4 turnovers, which is great. The problem is we had 4 turnovers. We turned it over 4 times, so that's not gonna be good. And then we also had 10 penalties. So penalties and turnovers. We're going to have to clean those up if we want to have some success this year. So I think the kids that last night, they were clearly hurt, which they are all the time when we put up this type of effort and don't come away with things. And what we told them is this wasn't a conference game. Our goal is to win conference. Tomahawk is now over, and we wanted to win it. But that's not the entire season. That's just one game, and it's game one of this year. So we got to make sure we're ready to come back and get after Culver this week.
Yeah, Coach. One thing that I've been hearing from the Stark County battle was, win or loss, you gain a lot of good things from a game like that last night. Would you agree? Having your opponent be the cross-county rival in week one is only good things come from that win or loss?
Yeah, I mean, it was a lot of good things. We learned, how people are going to react to things, and I think the biggest positive is that our guys didn't quit. They just kept fighting and coming back and trying to do the best they could to get back in the game and give ourselves a chance. And so that's again positive to see. One of the things we've hit on last year and this year that we've been talking about is the hardest person to beat is somebody who doesn't quit. So that's what we're going to keep trying to do and keep every week keep doing a little bit better job of it.
Yeah, we're going to see you this coming week in Culver, Coach. Anything you have learned so far about the Cavs yet?
Watched a little bit of their game last night, playing Attica. Attica has struggled for the last 3, maybe 4 years, something like that. So Culver looked very good, and so we'll look at what's going on there and see if there's some things we can try to take advantage of. And I'm sure that Culver's probably doing the same thing, trying to see what they can take advantage of from us. But we haven't won at Culver, I think, since like 13. So we got to go over there, and we'll talk about that this week with the guys, and we'll try to make that change this week.
Well, Coach, we are going to be there for you. Very excited. Going live at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central this coming Friday. I'll catch up with you this week and maybe stop by a practice.
All right, that sounds great.
Well, as always, Coach, I sure do appreciate your time this morning. Good luck in preparation this week. We'll talk later on.
All right, thank you. Have a good week.
You as well. All right, that is head coach of the West Central Trojans, Marc here on the Saturday Sports Line. We're going to take a break. We're going to talk with the other school on the other side of the county. They actually are holding the Tomahawk Trophy in the hand. Head coach Josh Burgess is here and in the flesh. We're going to chat with him and break this down. What a win it was for them. Tough loss for the West Central Trojans, but as head coach Marc just stated, a lot of experience was gained, and we will see them in action this coming Friday. Very excited to see the Trojans in Culver. We're taking a break. Coming back, Josh Burgess on the other side. Josiah McDaniel from shotgun. Brock Benson to his right. He sets his man in motion. Fakes the handoff. Keeps it himself. Uses the option. I believe that's Trey McGowan. Takes the hit. Breaks the tackle. Now he crosses the 45 to the 50. Now to the 45. And he's tackled at the 43-yard line. That was Kole Wilcox. My apologies. Kole Wilcox on a huge play, Chris. Here's a toss out to Kole Wilcox. Breaks the tackle to the 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Blue Jays!
The Stark County Co-op has been a member-owned farm services co-op in Stark County since 1928. That's over 90 years, and they're still providing the same quality agronomy services to the farming community of Stark and surrounding counties. The Stark County Co-op is an LP and fuel provider. The Stark County Co-op purchases grain at both locations, Hamlet and Brems. You can reach them by phone at 1-800-782-3392.
Stay tuned for more sports talk with Mitch Columbi and Chris McGowan on the longest-running high school sports show in Indiana, the Saturday Sports Line.
Pulaski Memorial Hospital. Quality care closer to home. Pulaski Memorial Hospital is all about community and keeping our community spotlight shining on the accomplishments of our youth. That's why PMH is proud to be a sponsor of our local high school sports action on WKVI, our community radio station. Pulaski Memorial Hospital. Quality care closer to home.
Listen for more insight in local high school sports on the Saturday Sports Line. Here's your sports director, Mitch Columbi.
McDaniel from shotgun, 2nd and 8. Takes the snap, hands off to Brock Benson, and he's got all the space in the world, baby. Touchdown, North Judson-San Pierre, 30-15. Welcome back to the Saturday Sports Line, the longest-running high school sports show in Indiana, thanks to our very own Harold Welter. Good morning, Harold. We appreciate you tuning in. As always, the tradition continues. We're talking with head coach of the Winamac Warriors, Josh Burgess, off his big win last night. He's got the Tomahawk Trophy. Not with him. You should have brought it, Coach. Why didn't you?
Well, actually, it's sitting in the back of my truck right now.
Well,
I got to take it back to school. I got it locked up. I didn't trust in the locker room last night with everybody in and out, so it went home with me last night. And I'm going to get it back in the trophy case after I get done with you guys today.
He slept next to it. Don't let him lie.
Right. Yeah.
One little bit of sleep he got. Kicked the wife out of the bed. Tomahawk trophy laying next to him.
He's blushing.
I wouldn't go that far. Yeah.
Well, Coach, we were updated throughout the night by Justin Ruff, and man, there were a lot of crazy moments in that game from what he was telling us. I mean, let's start with you. Break it down. We heard from Marc a moment ago. He was talking about the crazy moments there, especially towards the end. Just from the start, tell us what you saw.
Yeah, just an intense game, which you expect that with the county rivalry. I'll give Coach Hall a lot of credit. His kids, every year always play hard, and they did last night. And before kind of break it down a little bit, I thought the most best thing I guess I found out last night, our guys is they got a little bit of resilience in them. We had our backs against the wall, especially in the fourth quarter toward the end of the game, and they responded and got it done out of some adverse situations. So probably out of anything, that's what I was most pleased with. I never thought the second half was going to end, especially the third quarter. and I don't want to criticize officials because they got a tough job, and we need officials in the game, and we just don't have a lot. But it seemed like about every call that was made in the third quarter, there was a 5-minute conference that went along with it.
Marc kind of had mentioned a little bit.
It doesn't benefit either team. You can't get in a flow.
Yeah.
We're just stopping, and hey, I might not be happy about the call, but I would rather make the call, get the ball marked, and let's go.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not going to be happy about every call, nor do I expect to be. And I know probably Marc would say the same thing, but it just slowed the game down. And we had a hard time getting any flow and continuity. And I think there were some questionable calls both ways. I'm not going to say that it just benefited them, or I'm sure he wouldn't say that it benefited us or whatever, but just some strange thing. And I get it. It's week one.
And
they're
they're getting in the flow too.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not here to criticize officials or anything. They do the best job that they can, but I just thought, especially third quarter on into the fourth quarter, there were just some questionable things that just really hurt the flow of the game.
We had a game last year that we did, and it was late in the season where the crew was taking for forever to mark the ball, and I was getting aggravated on the sideline.
He started asking them,
and I'm not even a coach. I'm just doing the sideline report. I'm adding color, and I'm like, come on, fellas, what's taking you so long?
Well, and I told our coach, our coaching staff was getting a little worked up too, and I get it, and I try to stay calm.
Right.
But a couple of times I just asked, hey, what is going on? and I really just didn't get a very good explanation. So hey, again, about that. I'm not going to go on and on about that. Hey, our kids responded. We got the job done, and that's what I'm most happy about.
Well, you got the job done. You ended up winning. Was there any? I talked with Marc. He said he had some cramping issues go on later on in the game. Did you guys get out healthy?
Yeah, we're healthy. Again, just the normal bumps and bruises. We did have a couple guys cramp up that we got fixed and got back in. And I'll give our young guys a lot of credit. We had some freshmen that really stepped into the lineup that probably didn't expect to be playing, especially defensively. We had to get them in for a couple snaps. We start 3 freshmen offensively. Obviously, our freshman quarterback was Avery Adriano, but we also have a freshman center, and due to illness this week, we had to roll in a freshman guard. Aaron Harden's our freshman center, and Lane Tetzloff is our freshman guard. They're on the same side. So I'll give those kids a lot of credit. They settled in. Obviously, they made some mistakes, but they didn't hurt us. I thought they played for their first game about as well as they could play. And I think it helped too. We don't have huge senior numbers. We only had 2 seniors that played last night, and Addison Allen and Talon Garner. But those guys provide a lot of leadership. They're positive leaders. And I saw throughout the game, both those guys talking to our young kids, talking to everybody, picking them up. Ethan Burgess is a junior, and he provided a lot of positive leadership. Got a little bit vocal during pregame stuff and before we went out, which is out of his character. He's not a vocal kid, and I know him pretty well as my nephew, but I heard him talking to the kids too, so I think he took a step leadership-wise too. So
Good.
We don't have a lot of those kids numbers-wise, but I thought they provided a lot of positive leadership for our younger kids last night, which was, again, those are things that I like to see. Hey, the scheme things, the blocking, the tackling, we can work on that and correct that, but it's nice to know that we have that going forward, especially early on.
Yeah, the biggest improvement in high school football is always from week 1 to week 2. But let's go back to last night. First game of the year, biggest rival. Did West Central do anything last night that may have shocked you? That you were like, I didn't think they had that in them.
Yeah, we last couple of years they've ran with the tight end, and for various reasons they didn't have the tight end last night, so they came out double wing, double wide. We kind of thought maybe they would, but scrimmage they didn't show a lot of that. And hey, you know how the scrimmage film is,
right?
We didn't do hardly any of the things in the scrimmage that we did last night. So they practice all week. We expect some different looks, but I don't know if that threw us off necessarily. But it was just different as far as our preparation. We prepared for it, but we didn't expect to see it the whole time. I thought their fullback, the Villarreal kid, played really hard, ran hard, and with their midline and triple, we've got guys specifically for fullback and quarterback, obviously in option responsibilities. They went a lot more to the belly, the midline with the fullback, and again, stayed away from some of the triple stuff, and I think tried to stay away from Garner as that stand-up quarterback guy, which was smart on their part. So we had to make some in-game adjustments, roll a lot of guys into the interior, and I thought, especially the younger guys, did the job there. So just really happy. Offensively, we had just 166 rushing yards, but we had 74 yards passing, so right at 200 yards. Again, with a freshman quarterback, 2 freshmen up the middle. I was pretty pleased with that. Addison Allen was a big-time leader for us last night. He had 65 yards rushing, touchdown, 2 2-point conversions, 47-yard reception. Xavier Adriano, our freshman quarterback, had a 6-yard touchdown run. He got a 2-point conversion in. Ethan Burgess had a 17-yard touchdown reception. So those guys offensively stepped up. And then Tierson Wolford, sophomore for us. He's our starting linebacker, but due to injuries, kids cramping, he had to step in and play some fullback. And he's capable, but just doesn't get a lot of fullback snaps throughout the week. That's mostly Addy. But Tierson came in and had 5 rushes for 42 yards, all in the second half. So he looked good there too. So a lot of kids stepped up and did the job. Defensively, when we start talking about our defense, we're always led by Talon Garner. He had 7 tackles, I think 1 for loss. Tierson had 3 tackles for loss, a couple just gigantic plays for us, forced fumbles. Ethan Burgess and Addison Allen coming down from the safeties really got involved in the run game, which was good. They were very physical. And then Lewis Rugg and Hayden Taylor, those are 2 new starters for us at corner. Both those guys had interceptions. So I thought we had some guys step up and do some nice things week 1.
Something that go ahead. Something that I thought was interesting, Justin Ruff had let us know, was the new quarterback, the starting freshman. Talk about his development and trusting him to be the guy in his first year in high school.
Yeah, he's got a lot of physical tools. He's, for a freshman, the kid's 6'2", he weighs 200 pounds, so physically he's got it, but how it's mental. And I thought he made some steps last night, settled in pretty well. Obviously, he made some mistakes, and we're going to have to deal with that, having a freshman quarterback under center. But I thought he made some strides in practice this week, too, as far as understanding what we want him to do and what we need him to do in the quarterback position for us. So it's going to be a process with him. But again, I think, potential, he's got a lot of it. So I was happy with how he settled in and just really, really pleased with our young kids in general because, hey, there's a big difference from going from middle school football into playing varsity football on a Friday night. Yeah. So I thought those kids handled themselves very well. I'll also mention Alex Stonebreaker got in defensively quite a bit. Just first game, we had some guys wearing down up front, and I thought he did a pretty good job of taking some snaps and getting some action on the defensive line.
And you go back to Adriano. I mean, that's a name synonymous with Winamac football. There's been some Adrianos that have gone through the program.
Yeah, and he's got Grandpa on staff too.
Yeah, Grandpa's on staff.
And we've talked about it a little bit with him.
Right.
There's a little bit of added pressure that comes with that. I mentioned my nephew Ethan Burgess. He's got 2 uncles on the staff too. Those kids, some people might think, hey, because of their name, they're getting in. And we've told them, hey, you wouldn't play unless you were ready to play. And I think, there's some added pressure for those kids. And I thought both of them responded well and got the job done last night.
Yeah, there's added pressure, but also too, I'm sure that those your nephews have probably been around a Winamac football practice a time or two well before they stepped into high school. So it's like the basketball thing. Usually a basketball coach's kids are pretty good because they're gym rats.
Yeah,
and it's the same way in football too. Just being around the practice and just knowing the game.
Yeah, they've been around it.
They've been around
exactly
it.
Right. So that benefits them too. So again, you got a freshman playing quarterback, but that freshman has been around our stuff for a long time. So again, hey, stats are nice, all those things. We had a lot of penalties last night, over 100 yards in penalties, 4 turnovers. Those are things we've got to get cleaned up going forward.
But fixable things.
You're exactly right. And hey, in spite of that, we were still able to come out with a W. So, a lot of things to work on, but there are a lot of positives with that too.
Now you hit the road for 2 weeks in a row. You get your first home game of the year, but now you won't be home until September 13th against Culver. You see Frontier this coming week. Anything you know about them you can share?
Just talking a little bit, I think they had film issues last night, so I, as of right now, don't have their film, and their coach emailed me and said, hey, apologize, they're working it out. Hey, that's fine. They got a new head coach. Jack Barron, he's the son of John Barron.
Okay.
So
wow.
I think he's a spread guy. I know Frontier's been spread the last couple of years. We haven't played them since 2014 when the old Midwest Conference disbanded. We moved to the HNAC. So not a lot of familiarity with them. We've seen them, though, on the back end of film last couple of years with West Central. West Central's usually hit them right before they played us in the past couple of years. So we've seen them. They've seen some of their kids, but again, I think he's a spread guy. But until we get that film and know for sure, we're not exactly sure. And I've got a little bit of familiarity with Frontier. That's where I started. So I
guess I forgot that.
2002 to about 2010. So I don't think there's a lot of people that are still there when I was there, but I've got a little familiarity with Frontier, and so it's going to be different going back there. And taking a team back there too. So hey, they got a big win last night against Clinton Prairie. And I know Clinton Prairie's had some success the past couple of years, so they're going to present some different challenges. If they are spread, we've got to kind of shift our focus defensively from that rushing attack that West Central brought last night to more of a zone running scheme, spread passing attack, which is going to be a challenge for our kids. We're a little thin defensive back wise, so those kids are going to have a good practice, and we're going to have to get some things shored up front too. So. They're 1-0, we're 1-0. I'm sure they're feeling pretty good about themselves this morning too. So we'll need to have a good week of preparation as always, and that'll be a test going on the road. It's not a short drive. It's about 55 minutes on the bus. Yeah. So there's a lot of things that we're going to have to get ready for this week and get prepared for.
So talk about the locker room last night. What was that like when you guys brought the Tomahawk Trophy in?
Yeah, kids were excited. And hey, I'm always anytime we get a win, hey, we can talk about the stats, everything that goes with it. But I'm always thrilled to death for our kids. They work hard. Kids work hard. They deserve to have some success, and see their faces when they have a little bit of success. That's makes all work. So again, hey, we can talk about turnovers and penalties and all that stuff, but a win's a win. And so kids were excited last night. Some of those kids haven't experienced a whole lot of wins, so to get off on the right foot with a win was good for us and good for their confidence. And hey, just really happy for them.
Well, I appreciate you coming here. You going to get some golf swings in? You probably got some film to watch.
Yeah, I got a little film. I'm not a golfer. I've never set foot on a golf course. But no, this is awesome. I could sit here and look at this view forever. I know the Hallecks that own the golf course. They go to church with us. So
okay, Tammy.
I've known Tom and Tammy for a long time, and just really appreciate them letting us come up here. I know you guys do too. So it's a little bit, but nothing wrong with the studio, but this is a little bit better view than what we see in the studio.
Yeah, this is fun.
I would probably have a better chance of getting him to eat a donut over there than him swinging a golf club.
Yeah, you're probably right.
You probably don't eat donuts.
Not very often.
And that's why I said that.
Now, are you on a nutrition plan?
No,
Do you put your players on nutrition plans?
No, they're high school kids.
The reason I asked is because, wrestling and you're involved. I know you're not the head coach, but you do get involved with that.
No, high school kids, they can shove about any junk in they want. They process that. So I can't. I'm a little bit older than that. I can't do that anymore.
That's me. I'm a seafood diet. I see food, I eat it.
Well, Coach, thanks again, and congratulations on the big win, the battle for Pulaski County, the Tomahawk Trophy. Good for you.
Yeah, appreciate you guys too. Thanks for having me up.
Absolutely. That is head coach of the Winamac Warriors, Josh Burgess, here on the Saturday Sports Line. We appreciate him and his time. We're going to take a break and come back. Head coach of the Culver Cavaliers, Austin Foust. He's on the other side.
You need Kole, baby, I'm not fooling.
From shotgun, McDaniel deep pass play down the left field sideline. It's intercepted by Jake Conroy at the 42.
Honey, you need it.
First and goal. Ball spotted on the Blue Jays 6, and Miles McLaughlin is from shotgun, ready to go. Takes the snap. Fakes the handoff, keeps it himself. Sutter step now up to the left side. Is he going to outrun them? He will. Touchdown, Redskins! Miles McLaughlin is not letting this game get away. He wants to play, and play hard he will.
Yeah, baby, I'm in the dirt, man. Way down inside. Honey, you need I'm gonna give you my love. I'm gonna give you my love.
One of our hometown businesses here in our area in Monterey, it's LAP Waste.
Being able to recycle is one of our main goals at LAP Waste. Being able to say that we only take about 8% of our trash to the dump is pretty impressive for us, and we hope to keep building on that.
We service an 80-mile circle from Monterey. If you have a small job, big job, or just have a one-time, we are here to make a difference in this area.
And that phone number, Kirby?
574-542-4019.
Stay tuned for more sports talk with Mitch Columbi on Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI.
It's hard to believe, but time sure does fly by. Collins Insurance Agency in downtown Knox are celebrating over 30 years of taking care of all of your insurance needs in our communities.
If I could turn back time.
And we're not going anywhere.
Stop in and see Jim and the crew at Collins Insurance Agency in downtown Knox.
Insurance you can count on from a business you've trusted since 1989.
Proud presidential partners of Western Reserve.
It's time now for Hour 2 of the Saturday Sports Line with your host, Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI Sports Director, Mitch Columbi, and sports analyst, Chris McGowan.
(24-15). Redskins trail by 9. 6:06. Here comes Miles McLaughlin. He takes the snap from shotgun. Oh, fumble on the play. Who picks it up? The Blue Jays say they have it, and they do. Back from Chesapeake Golf Club, Mitch Columbi along with sports analyst Chris McGowan. It's time to transition to the Culver Cavaliers. We have head coach of the Cavs, Austin Foust, on the line. Good morning, Coach.
Guys, how are you?
Hey, we are doing fantastic, Coach. Probably not as fantastic as you, though. What a win. And we were talking about this last night off the air, Chris and myself. Man, we were looking forward to talking to you after this huge win over Attica last night, 42-0. You have got to feel good this morning.
Yeah. It's sun feels a little brighter. I don't feel as tired after a late night. Everything seems to be pretty good. No, it was a fun one. Just our kids came out and played incredibly. It was fun for our boys to get that, especially obviously after last year, and then playing Attica that's had quite the losing streak, and you're kind of worried about the what it could be, new coach kind of for them, and so there was a lot of excitement on their side, and we came out and took care of business last night.
So my question to you is, how were you able to keep Coach Kling under wraps there? I'm sure he was probably pretty excited.
Yeah, he was. It was one of those things where I think we all were having a hard time staying in reps just because of how well we played. We thought we could get outside of them. They were bigger than us, but we thought we could use our speed. And, our offensive line, with Drake Zorich, Shane Martin, Logan Caldale, Bella, and Robert Evans. I think we rushed probably for over 300 yards. Just a lot of sweeps and things like that. We had Ethan Binion that ran for 2 touchdowns. Tony Summers ran for 2, and Jonas McEwen threw a touchdown pass to David Height. So it was, kind of all hands on deck. And then I guess if you want to call it a touchdown pass, Jonas wants us to call it a touchdown pass. Braylon's probably not happy, but Braylon Jackson had a 50-yard, technically touchdown catch, but it was those jet sweeps where you just toss it to the receiver. Technically, it's a pass, but freshman Braylon Jackson got a touchdown too late in the game. So really, it was obviously collective effort offensively and collective effort defensively to get the shutout too as well.
You guys were 34-0 at halftime. Was that right?
Yeah, but I think it was 30-0. Yeah, 30-0 at half. Yep.
Okay, so how soon into the second half did you score? You were able to put a running clock on somebody, Coach.
Yeah, it was late. It was early in the fourth. We tried to get one right before half, and that was kind of my fault on a 2-minute drill. It kind of screwed us up, and then we had a lot of cramps last night. And I know watching the Judson and Knox game, there were some cramps too as well, so it didn't make me feel as bad. Because it was beautiful weather last night, so it was just like, I'd hate to see it if it was a true warm game like we get on week 1, but we kind of fizzled a little bit in the third quarter. We weren't as clean as we were in the first half, and then finally Jonas connected on a 55-yard touchdown pass to David Height that finally put us over that running clock, which obviously is good to see, especially with our low numbers. I mean, that's one of those things where kind of as a coach, where it's like, man, if we can get a running clock, we got to get one as soon as possible. That's only going to help us, to stay healthy and get at least amount of snaps on these guys as the season goes on.
Well, Coach, other than Attica, now we move on. You stay home for week 2. You take on West Central. They had a tough loss last night. We talked with Marc Call. They gained a lot of experience from that tough loss, but he mentioned it's been a long time since they have won at Culver. What are you hoping to do and bring to the forefront at practice this week to make sure that doesn't happen for the Cavs?
Yeah, obviously, they're going to run their option stuff, and we've got to be prepared. Got to be able to do the little details, the little things. They're coming off a tough loss to a rival, so they're going to want to get that sour taste out of their mouth, and we're coming off a big win, so we got to temper our being able to handle success, I guess, right, is what we got to do, and they're going to present a lot of challenges for us, and they're going to be ready to go, and we kind of talked to the kids, last year's game, against West Central, they took it to us, both sides of the ball, just, physically manhandled us. And we talked about that should leave a sour taste in your mouth. I think our kids are hopefully ready to go and excited. And, it's going to be another, tough game. When we play West Central, we've had some good battles here, and we got to be able to slow down their option, and if we can do that, hopefully we like where we are, and hopefully we can keep building on what we did offensively, and hopefully our defense can build off shutout. Our defense was lights out last night, so I told our defense coordinator Kevin Dante, if we can do that every week, I like our chances, but obviously we know that's not going to be the thing, but it's going to be a fun game, obviously, with West Central this Friday.
Yeah, Coach, we've heard from other coaches this morning. A lot of cramping happened last night, some minor injuries from other teams. How did you guys get out of there?
Yeah, we're healthy, other than just cramps, and probably probably the stock in mustard went up from how many mustard bottles we were buying, and kids were sucking down mustard to get their cramps. We were all healthy, other than just some cramping issues during the game. So, we can't afford any injuries, so that was another blessing too, to get out of there with the win we did with everybody healthy. And getting ready for week 2.
Yeah, I forgot you had Kevin Dante on the coaching staff. He's a cousin of mine, so I got family all over the place,
everywhere.
That's right. Yeah. So he's let us know that he's related to the McGowans there.
So he said that
too. You can see the resemblance in the hairline for sure.
Yeah, most definitely. Hey, and you're not too far away, Coach. I'm just giving you a heads up. It's coming.
It's coming.
Jeez, you guys, you're terrible.
Oh, but hey, congrats on the win last night, and hey, go get number 2 next week.
Yep, that's our goal. We appreciate it, guys. Thanks for everything you guys do.
No, absolutely, Coach. We'll talk to you later this week. I'll make it out to a practice. We're so excited to come to Culver. You know WKVI's been doing it for a long time, and we're continuing the tradition and look forward to seeing you this week.
Yep, we're excited to have you guys there. Thanks, guys.
All right, Coach, appreciate your time. That is head coach of the Culver Cavaliers, Austin Foust, here on the Saturday Sports Line. Got this song here for Chris. Want a little Cashmere from Led Zeppelin. Getting the let out this morning here on the Saturday Sports Line. From Chesapeake Golf Club. What a great, beautiful place. You guys should come out just to view it. It is gorgeous here.
It is beautiful here.
My goodness. Makes me want to think about golfing again.
Nice hidden little gym in North Judson, Indiana.
We'll come back after this. South Central Satellite head coach Buzz Schoff is here in the flesh. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to the Saturday Sports Line. Okay, the Jays have it deep in their own territory. It's Josiah McDaniel taking the snap. Hands off to Kole Wilcox. He breaks away to the 20, now the 25 to the 30, 40, 50, 45 to the 40, 35 to the 30, 25 to the 20, 15, 10, 5. It's a North Judson-San Pierre Blue Jay touchdown. Kole Wilcox. Coming up on 11 p.m. Eastern, 10 p.m. Central. Hands off. Brock Benson. No, that's Kole Wilcox. And he will score another North Judson-San Pierre Blue Jay touchdown. Another Kole Wilcox touchdown. 42-21. They're running away.
At First Farmers Bank and Trust, agriculture has been a cornerstone of our business for more than 135 years. Our personal relationships within the ag community run deep for multiple generations. If you're looking for a financial partner that knows, understands, and supports agriculture, I'd love to hear from you. I'm Isaac Blue, ag banker at First Farmers. Come into our Knox, North Judson, or Culver branches, or visit us online at ffbt.com when you're ready to talk about growing your operation. First Farmers Bank and Trust, member FDIC, equal opportunity lender.
Stay tuned for more sports talk with Mitch Columbi on Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI.
Coke Zero is now Coke Zero Sugar with great Coke taste. Some people were excited to hear the news. Some were skeptical. So we're not going to have the star of the show you're watching come out and say, "You'll love it." No special jingle written by this week's hottest pop star. No famous internet celebs who happen to be holding the label just so. Okay, maybe just one little pour shot. The only thing that will make you believe Coke Zero Sugar has great Coke taste is trying it yourself. Ice cold Coke Zero Sugar. Try one today.
It's hard to believe, but time sure does fly by. Collins Insurance Agency in downtown Knox are celebrating over 30 years of taking care of all of your insurance needs in our communities.
If I could turn back time.
And we're not going anywhere.
Stop in and see Jim and the crew at Collins Insurance Agency in downtown Knox.
Insurance you can count on from a business you've trusted since 1989.
Proud presidential partners of Western Reserve.
Here's more with area high school coaches as we return to the Saturday Sports Line from the Pulaski Memorial Hospital Studios on K99.3.
Okay, the Jays have it deep in their own territory. It's Josiah McDaniel taking the snap. Hands off to Kole Wilcox. He breaks away to the 20, now the 25 to the 30, 40, 50, 45 to the 40, 35 to the 30, 25 to the 20, 15, 10, 5. It's a North Judson-San Pierre Blue Jay touchdown. Kole Wilcox. Back for more on the Saturday Sports Line, the longest-running high school sports show in Indiana, thanks to our very own Harold Welter. Big-time shout-out to Tim Roth. I wanted to bring this up real quick, Chris. He said, being at Chesapeake, now you see why I like to work 3 days a week. Beautiful facility. He said he appreciated the interview with Josh Burgess, and he's so happy that they got off to a good start. Warrior up from the great Tim Roth.
And Winamac has a chance to go 2-0 here.
Yes.
I look for them to go down to Frontier and take care of business again. So, kind of a reversal from the past seasons. You know, Winamac starting off usually in a meat grinder the past season. So, their schedule now is a little bit more balanced on the front end than it has been in years past. So, Josh Burgess and the Winamac Warriors, could come next week being 2-0.
Well, we transition to another one of our area teams that had a huge win last night over Bowman Academy. It's South Central Satellites head coach Buzz Schoff. Good morning, Coach. 48-14. You got to feel pretty good about that.
Yeah, it's just one of those. It's one of those games where you got to come in, you got to take care of what you came to take care of, and just do what you're supposed to do. Get out, make sure everybody's healthy at the end of the thing, and then just start preparing for week 2. So, and that's what we were able to do last night. We came in, we handled our business. There wasn't it wasn't a perfect game, but it's definitely you got the week 1 mistakes, the week 1 errors that you have that now you have a full game on film that you can show your kids this is what we're trying to do, this is what we're doing wrong. And so last night was a perfect week 1 matchup for us to kind of get off on the right foot and as we enter into the hard part of our season, I would call it.
Well, and I said this last night on the air. The last couple years for you at South Central have just been with all the injuries, and I'm saying this as a total respect. Kudos for you because you show up. You showed up every Saturday to talk about South Central football and your kids, and you haven't been successful when it comes to wins and losses, but to be able today, and I was so excited last night to be able today to have you come in and be able to talk about, getting that win and everybody coming out healthy. It just proves that if you just stick with it, good things will happen.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just one of those things. You can't. Nobody wants to have a kid have an injury.
Right.
Nobody wants to have a kid have to sit on the sideline. And but what that does is that builds character, that builds team camaraderie, that builds trust within the system.
Depth.
So we got a lot of kids that If you look on our starting lineup page throughout the past couple years, their names are probably not on it, and now they're getting significant playing time and impact roles, and they were able to do that because at any given second, they could be thrown into a game as a sophomore or as a junior, and now that they're seniors, it's nothing new to them. They're already accustomed to it, as opposed to if we just all season long just have the same kids playing, it might be a little bit of a culture shock when you hit the Friday night lights on, fans going crazy. It might scare you a little bit, but our kids are used to it, and they took it last night. They embraced it, and obviously everybody's having fun in Union Mills this morning. So
I guarantee it. And I mean, I got updates. Shout out to Marc Ridley. He was sending me updates throughout the night. He brought up Clayton Stroud quite a bit.
Yeah, absolutely. Clayton is I've always called him our Swiss Army knife at South Central for the past 4 years. He's
literally.
He's a kid that.
Multiple sport
was always just he was good enough to do anything, but maybe not the best at one specific thing. So he was always just a kid that we put where we needed, an athlete in order to play that position. He was always just kind of that fill-in guy, and now he's our guy. So, and you know, as a player like that, you know exactly what you're going to get with him. He's going to give you everything he's got every time. You're never gonna know what he's thinking. He's just going to do what he's supposed to do. And last night we kind of threw some things at him that we were seeing in live action, and obviously, you know, he's got to turn around and play defense too.
Yeah.
And then he's got to snap the ball on PATs. He's got to snap the ball on punts. So it's really hard to never actually see your quarterback on the sideline to make kind of some in-game adjustments. So, you know, I'm screaming across the field adjustments that we're trying to make, and his football intelligence, he's able to understand exactly what I'm saying. And you know, last night we me and Coach Jones, we looked at each other and we said, Clayton Stroud is a quarterback.
Yeah.
You know, we thought going into the season that maybe, you know, he's probably more of a running back type kid.
Which that's what he had played before.
And that's what he played before, and we knew that we kind of wanted the ball in his hands, but you know, some reads he was making on some of our on our RPOs last night. The reads that he was making were quarterback reads, and he's making good decisions. He's throwing the ball very, very well.
Good.
He's got a good pocket presence. You know, he's not flustered real easy, and I guess, you know, that probably is because, you know, he's a running back at heart. He's not afraid of a defensive end rush. He's not gonna shy away from that. He'll just step up into it, and he'll take one if he needs to deliver a good ball. So he played lights out last night.
You know what that just kind of reminded me? Hearing a couple of those words when you were describing how he is in the pocket and such, I was like, man, this is kind of sounding like Zach Hanshar.
Well, so you know, that was a big question mark, right? You know, Zach's been our quarterback for 3 years, and we didn't really know who the next guy was, and obviously, you know, at the end of last season we had to replace him, and you know, maybe we should have gave Clayton another look, but you know, last night, you know, I'm pretty sure that, you know, we got a quarterback at South Central, and you know, the offense that we run, you know, it's an integral part. You know, obviously it's an integral part of every offense, but you know, if our quarterback can make a good read on a defense, so we can run the offense we run, you know, we're in much better shape than if we just got a guy who's just going to take off and run with it.
So that leads me to ask you, going into week one, what was your biggest concern going into last night?
You know, it was just can our kids step up the way we need them to step up and play 4 quarters of football? You know, you can't simulate a Friday night game in practice or in a scrimmage or throughout the summertime. You just can't. You can't mimic that. The amount of plays that, you know, we got a few kids that are playing both ways that you know that we need on the field, and just worried about, all right, are they going to be able to do this? Will they have the mental toughness to say, I'm not that tired, I can go, you know, 10 seconds hard because I'm going to get 30 seconds off here. Yeah. So, and our kids were able to do that last night. You know, you look at a kid like Braden Lautenbach, and it looked like he was in a Winamac uniform last night. You know, our all Reds, when they get real sweaty, they turn maroon. So, you know, you look at him, and it's like, man, that kid probably lost 30 pounds of water out there.
So, man, if you're listening, make sure you're hydrating.
And we made sure to tell him that, you know.
Every coach did.
And our girls do a great job. If there's any pause, they make the officials tell them to get off the field. You know, they do a fantastic job of that because they know how important that is. That we can't have a kid come off the field because he's tired or he's thirsty. You know, you guys got to take care of that. And you know, it was just one of those games where, you know, everything's going well. You know, it's not that you know, I wasn't ranting and raving on the sideline because we didn't do everything perfect.
Right.
But you know, you look at Bowman and you know, the one thing that really comes to mind from last night is, you know, we drove down, we went up 6-0, and everything was rolling, and then we end up getting a broken down play. Kid scampers for, you know, 62 yards, I think, and they go up 8-6. There's been teams that I've coached at South Central in the past that when that happens, you don't really know what's going to happen next. Even though it's still the first quarter, we've had teams that just would kind of fold at that point and say, well, they're just as good as we are, and kind of play down a little bit. But that's not the reaction we got last night. We finally saw some fire in our kids' eyes.
Wow,
like they were mad that they were losing by 2 points. They were upset, and it was like, okay, well, let's just go ahead and handle this.
Right.
I like this. Where's this been?
Keep scoring, and we won't call the dogs off until it's time to call the dogs off. And we were able to do that. Go in at halftime 41-8, or was it 41? 41-8?
41-8, yeah.
Yep. So going at halftime 41-8, that's still not the running clock at halftime. So, all right. We get the ball out coming out the second half. Let's put this thing in the bag, and let's get our buddies out on the field that ain't in the field yet. So it was just one of those nights that it's just a fun time.
Yeah, guaranteed.
When I used to coach football, to me, week one of the biggest concerns was always special teams. How'd your special teams perform? You put 48 points on the board, so your kickoff team getting a lot of work.
Yeah, so our kickoff team, did very well last night. We got Tommaso. I can't say his last name, but Tommaso, foreign exchange student. I mean, we got a kicker. If we can,
we have a kicker.
He's nailing 42-yard field goals in practice the other day. So we got a kicker, and luckily
nice.
we had two. Bowman had two personal fouls called on.
We got a kicker
on two scores that we had, so we ended up kicking from the 50, and he looks at me, and he's a very intelligent kid. He studied the game. When his host parents told him that want to try football, he studied it. He knows a little bit about football as far as kicking goes, and so we're kicking from the 50. I said, kick this thing through the upright, I'll buy you a cheese sandwich. And so he did. He didn't kick it through the uprights, but he kicked it through the back of the end zone, and then the other couple, we're down at the 5, down at the 3. That's just in this league like that. That's a game changer. If you can make them go 80 yards, that's a huge help. And but then on the flip side of that, we've never had a kicker that was able to kick it that deep. Is he going to outkick his coverage where we can't get down there and cover it? But our kids did a great job. The only hiccup we really had was they blocked a few extra points on us that we got to clean up, obviously, and that's just kids you got to step down but not move. But and then our punt return team, they come out in a strange punt situation where they kind of got 4 receivers, and we just didn't recognize that we still have to cover these guys up. They don't want to throw it to them, but we have to at least show them that they can.
Hey, we see you out there. Yeah, we see you out there.
You got some friends with you here today. Who you have?
Yeah, so my wife is over in Rochester today. She's learning. She's doing a Sunday school teacher rally thing. So I got my 3 kids with me. We got to take Jude to baseball practice when we're all done. So
she's ready to go.
Yep, she's probably.
You want to say hello? Say hello. Oh, now you're shy. Say hello.
Hi.
The little chauffeur's here today.
There you go. Mama probably heard him while she was driving down there. So.
Well, this is cool, Coach. I'm glad you came. You brought the family. They're ready to go. They are ready to go, Coach. But let's finish things up. You talk about Boone Grove next week. It's the only 2A school you'll face, so you're going to be facing some competition, I assume. I heard you say right before we went on the air that now you're entering the really heavy portion of the season. You'll see Boone Grove next week, then North Judson-San Pierre the following week, then Triton. It doesn't get any easier as time goes on. What do you know about Boone Grove at this time?
Yeah, so, I watched a little bit of the film last night, a little bit this morning. Their quarterback's legit. I mean, I think he's if I'm not mistaken, he's a Mac kid, maybe Toledo, something like that.
Wow.
So he can throw the ball wherever he wants to put it, and it goes right where he wants to go. So watching the film last night, they ended up losing 37-17 to a tough Glen team, and just looking at their film compared to our film, our kids got to step up the speed of the game, because as I'm watching that film, John Glenn's flying all over the place, Boone Grove's flying all over the place. We just have to step up to that speed, so it doesn't look like the game has slowed down for them. If the game slows down, then it's easier for them. So we got to keep up that pace and just contain number 14 from Boone Grove, because he can make a play at any given time. It looks like he's taking off with it, but he'll stop on a dime and he'll throw a perfect pass, 60 yards down the field to a wide open receiver. So we got our work cut out for us, but obviously this is a PCC championship game here next week. So if you can't get excited about that, right? That's the bragging rights for the football team through the rest of the school year. So we're excited for the opportunity. We're glad that they're still on our schedule, just to keep that kind of tradition alive. And who knows? We'll come out Friday night ready to go and give it our best shot.
Hey, you're going to be away next week, then you'll be home 2 weeks in a row. This first kind of month of the season, you're at home quite a bit, but then the next time you'll be on the road is September 20th. So you're going to have a lot of games here at home, which I'm sure you really like.
Yeah, so actually that Boone Grove game got moved to home.
It is home
week.
now.
Yep.
So you're at home several weeks in a row.
Yep, so 4 in a row here,
wow.
which is not good when you look in the future, because that means 4 away next year. So it got moved. There was a little mix-up with the athletic directors. We had 2 different contracts. Ours said we were there. Theirs said we were here. So hopefully everything goes as planned. I know the AD has been working on that for the past couple weeks to make sure everything's shored up. But we'll have Boone at home, and then we'll have Judson at home, and then we'll have Triton at home. So I guess on the flip side of that, if you're playing 3 tough teams in a row, at least you ain't got to go to their place and have their hometown crowd and their band playing, their student section fired up. So best case scenario as far as that's concerned.
Well, good, Coach. We were just so happy that score kept coming in. I mean, he just kept coming and coming. And I was like, oh my gosh! Once it was 48-14, Chris goes, "Well, running clock."
Yep. And that's what you got to do. You go into games like that. That's what you have to do. You get the clock running and get some number 2s, some sufficient playing time. They got a small roster. I think it was only like 22 kids, but counting them, I only counted about 17. So giving our kids the opportunity, those number 2s and those number 3s, getting those freshmen out there, and who they're playing against. They're playing against their varsity team. They're playing against their number 1 guys. And, to only give up 1 score in that kind of situation, obviously the clock's in your favor there, but they contained them just like they needed to. And I'm, it's just one of those things that we were able to do exactly what we planned on doing.
Well, congratulations on the win, Coach. We will be in contact. We'll talk to you next Saturday, and then week 3, we're going to be there for you against Judson. So sure do appreciate your time this morning.
All right, no problem. Thank you, guys.
Thanks for coming out.
It's awesome.
You going to get some golf in?
I don't think so, no. I think the lady met me at the front door. She goes, "Can I help you, sir?" And I'm like, "I'm just here for the radio." So I don't even think she wanted me on her golf course. But
Oh, Buzz, I love talking to you, man. Thanks a lot. One thing I was listening to was the last broadcast last year. Of course, that was with you when we went to Bishop Chatard. And one thing that stuck out is you mentioned how the running play, I don't know if you'll remember this, but you were mentioning the running plays from Knox. You had said, well, Russ, it's worked for Russ for 47 years. Why wouldn't it work tonight?
Exactly.
And then last last night, I see several of the same plays, and I'm thinking, Buzz. I hear Buzz's head in my voice. Well, here's another year, 48 now.
Yeah, I mean, well, from a LaPorte perspective, from the New Prairie, Bart Curtis was a big name, right? And they that triple option, everybody in the state of Indiana calls Bart ball.
Right.
Huh. Well, we need to figure out what kind of offense Radtke's running. Just call it Russ ball or something.
Right.
So because he's the only one that does it, but he does it so well that it's just one of those things where he's done the same thing for 48 years.
It works.
He's not going to change now.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Coach. I appreciate it. Enjoy the time with the family this weekend and the weather, and we'll talk soon.
Yep. Thank you, guys.
All right. That is head coach of the South Central Satellites, Buzz Schoff, here on the Saturday Sports Line. We're going to take a quick break and come back. We're going to talk with North Judson-San Pierre Blue Jay head basketball coach Kent Chezem. He's going to talk about this golf outing today, what's going on. Several Blue Jays are here as well. Former Blue Jays, I should say. They're in their Blue Jay attire, though. We're going to come back, talk with them, see what's going on here at Chesapeake Golf Club. You're listening to the Saturday Sports Line. They've got an 8-man front yet again on the offensive line. They take the snap, steps back, looks to throw. He gets hit, intercepted by the Blue Jays. That's Josiah McDaniel. He's the quarterback, also a defensive back, and he makes the interception. They will take over in their own territory off the interception. It seems right now like it is the Jays' night, Chris.
Pulaski Memorial Hospital. Quality care closer to home. Pulaski Memorial Hospital is all about community and keeping our community spotlight shining on the accomplishments of our youth. That's why PMH is proud to be a sponsor of our local high school sports action on WKVI, our community radio station. Pulaski Memorial Hospital. Quality care closer to home.
At First Farmers Bank and Trust, agriculture has been a cornerstone of our business for more than 135 years. Our personal relationships within the ag community run deep for multiple generations. If you're looking for a financial partner that knows, understands, and supports agriculture, I'd love to hear from you. I'm Isaac Blue, ag banker at First Farmers. Come into our Knox, North Judson, or Culver branches, or visit us online at ffbt.com when you're ready to talk about growing your operation. First Farmers Bank and Trust, member FDIC, equal opportunity lender.
One of our hometown businesses here in our area in Monterey, it's LAP Waste.
Being able to recycle is one of our main goals at LAP Waste. Being able to say that we only take about 8% of our trash to the dump is pretty impressive for us, and we hope to keep building on that.
We service an 80-mile circle from Monterey. If you have a small job, big job, or just have a one-time, we are here to make a difference in this area.
And that phone number, Kirby?
574-542-4019.
Join us each Saturday morning on WKVI for the Saturday Sports Line and worldwide on WKVI.com.
We are back at Chesapeake Golf Club here, just outside of North Judson, Indiana. Mitch Columbi on the Saturday Sports Line. We've got some great guests here. We've talked with head coach of the North Judson-San Pierre Blue Jays boys basketball team, Kent Chezem, before. We also have Dave Altman here, who I've brought up on the air last year. 33 years of being at the scorer's table for the North Judson-San Pierre Blue Jays. Of course, you were, that's got to be pretty special for you, Dave.
Oh, it is. I love basketball, and I love Blue Jay basketball, and it's the best seat in the house. So I get I just have to kind of relax. I can't yell or anything, can't shout, but I enjoy the game.
I don't know if of course, this is just year 3, but I don't think there's ever been any issues with the scoreboard during the game.
You just ruined that.
Come on. That's why you've been there so long. Well, you got a big day today, Coach Chezem. Let's talk about it. I mentioned a little bit earlier on about what you guys are doing here, but let the listeners know if they want to come out.
Yeah, this is the 26th annual Blue Jay Golf outing, and we're really happy to have it here at Chesapeake. Tammy Halleck and all the people here have been gracious hosts, and they make it easy for us. And, it's a beautiful course.
Yes.
And it's a beautiful day. We hit the weather just right today, and we've got 23, 24 teams out here today playing.
Wow.
We've got some old players, Fred Eckert's out there, Bud Childers is out there, Quinn Bales,
Quinn's here?
Quinn's out here playing.
I need to say hey.
We've got quite the crew out there. We talk about the long blue line in our program. We talk about how there's that blue line on the end of our gym that has all the sectional and regional championships and things, and we kind of use that as a motto. We talk about painting that line and paying reverence to the people before us, but then also extending that line and living up to the expectations. And boy, with the people we have out here today, it's kind of the epitome of that. It's been a lot of fun.
You didn't hear this earlier, and our listeners will probably be like, why are you bringing this up again, Mitch? But I find it amazing because when I left high school from Rushville, I think I've only been back twice, but every time I come to a Knox or a North Judson-San Pierre Blue Jay game, I see former players that graduated 2, 3, and I mean, you're 34 years of doing this. There just seems to be a lot of pride in this county, Coach.
Yeah, there is. Knox had former players on their sideline last night. So did North Judson. I was walking around and I met some kids from Knox that had played on recent teams. I think you get that in a small town. You get that pride and that reverence for your teams, and especially last night with the state runner-up team coming back and David Hall being inducted in the Hall of Fame. I mean, Mike Charcozy has spent months. Not weeks, but actual months. We had food trucks there last night. We had a band there last night.
Yeah, live music.
Seemed like everybody in Stark County was there. 2 great football teams. Man, that was a hard-hitting game. I heard you say on the radio it was like a semi-state atmosphere. I think that was dead on. It was a lot of fun. That was one of the most fun football games I've ever watched.
Yeah, were you there last night, Dave?
No, couldn't make it, but we watched it via the computer.
You listened to WKBI.
Both. I had that on, and we were watching to it.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's
KBI,
right.
yeah.
Well, I see you got John Hampton here. He always so shy. We want to get him on the air, and he never wants to talk to me. He's a coach. You'd think he'd want to talk about his players.
When there's not a microphone around, you can't shut him up. But you get a microphone out, and then he doesn't want to talk. But no, we had some of our guys. A lot of my basketball players on the football team. Kole Wilcox was here this morning helping out a little bit, and some of our other guys. It's it's just a real close-knit, tight community that supports everybody, and an event like this kind of brings those people out.
You've been sitting here the whole time. You just like listening to the show, huh, Dave?
Well, it's a beautiful day, yeah, and I get to watch the show and listen to it and watch the golfers out here. And I'm seeing kids, well, I call them kids, graduated just a few years ago or playing. I saw some of them ones on the current team out here helping out. And like Coach said, I got 3 of my teammates out here playing from over 50 years ago, and a coach, one of my former coaches out there. So
that is amazing.
It's a fun day.
Are you golfing?
No.
Are you golfing?
I am not golfing. I'm running the beverage cart today.
So you're making sure everybody's taken care of.
Yeah, I'm a host today.
Now, this is a question I can ask you since it's not in season. How important is the relationship between the home team and the scorer's table when it comes to the play clock?
Oh, it's huge. I mean, really, that's something you worry about. And I've been to several different schools, but that's something I don't have to worry about here.
Yeah.
Dave was one of the first guys that I met. We went out to lunch when I first got the job, and there's not a greater historian of Blue Jay athletics than him. He knows everybody, every team. He can recite records. He can recite years. I mean, it's pretty incredible.
What is it about North Judson you like, Dave?
Well, this is home.
This is home.
This is home, and it's a small town atmosphere. Everybody knows everybody. We're not related to hardly anybody, which is a little unusual for this county. But we know everybody. And we've been here, my wife's family and my family both moved up here in '57.
Wow!
And so we've been to school here the whole time. I can remember the very first Judson basketball game I went to. So it's been a while.
Did you play basketball?
A little bit.
What position?
That's a good question. Forward.
Forward?
Yeah.
Well, you are pretty tall.
Well, you know Tony Stanifer.
I know the name.
Okay, well,
I know the name.
Yeah, Tony was a classmate of mine, and when I was a 6th grade, 7th grade, I was a center. Tony came out, and I can say this because he and I were friends, and he said this too. As a 7th grader, Coach Hoover got him to come out and play basketball. And Tony was already probably 6'1" as a 7th grader. He played 20 seconds as a 7th grader the whole year. Coach Hoover worked with him all summer long. 8th grader, he was a starter.
Wow.
So he became the starting center. I got bumped to forward.
Oh.
And Tony started every game from 8th grade on through high school.
And you never forgot that?
Well, no, I didn't forget. I watched him. He was a good player. Very good player.
Where'd you go to high school?
Judson.
Oh. I don't know why. My mind's lost. I'm sorry. I only had 2 hours of sleep last night, so I'm working on it.
No. That's Blue Jay all the way.
Blue Jay all the way. Wow, this is amazing. So, if you're talking to the listeners right now, give them a little elevator speech on why they should come out. It's a beautiful day in golf and help support the Blue Jays here.
Yeah, it's
you're raising money.
Well, we are, and we've got a lot of great sponsors that have helped us with our whole sponsorships, and besides just the players. But just come support the golf course. I mean, this is a beautiful place to play. We're really lucky, in a small town like North Judson to have a course like this and the quality. I think it's kind of a hidden gem. The layout here is really unique. It's a little kind of like a links course in some ways, but we have trees out here. It's there's going to be open play here this afternoon, and I would encourage everybody to come on out and give this place a try if they haven't.
Yeah, how long are you guys going to be here for today?
We'll be done around noon.
Okay, so we still got a little bit of time.
Yeah,
a couple more hours.
Yeah,
you'd probably get how many? You think you could get 9 holes in a couple hours?
Oh, easy. Yeah.
Easily.
Yeah.
If you just rush through it.
Right.
You say 24 teams. Or 20?
Yeah, 24, I think, ended up showing up today.
Wow. So. Well, I know John was trying to hit me up for the $5. Luckily, I don't carry cash on me, where you probably take card.
Well,
knowing you.
No, we did. We gave away a 7 days worth of accommodations on a trip today already. Hopefully somebody hits a hole in one and they win $10,000 or a prize worth $10,000. We've got a lot of giveaways. Our sponsors allow us to do that, and we still make a little money for the basketball program.
I need to get hooked up with those sponsors, Coach.
Yeah, I think I have to go back out and play golf again.
Yeah, no kidding. $10,000. That sounds like a lot of fun. So what else is there? I mean, you said the 10K or $10,000 worth of prizes.
We have a hole in one on hole number 14, and if you hit one in there, it's a $10,000 prize. You can take the cash. You can take a trip. There's a trip for 2 to the Final Four. You could take in lieu of the $10,000.
Wow!
It's kind of a neat thing, and let people choose on how they want to get that.
What would you
payout.
choose?
I would kind of like to go to that Final Four. I've never been
over the 10.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not that I couldn't use the 10,000, but I kind of like that experience of going to the Final Four.
Yeah. Would it be cash or is it on the books?
Well, I'm sure it's on the. I'm sure Uncle Sam's going to get a cut of that. $10,000.
Oh, they always do. Golly. Well, Coach, I appreciate you letting us come. Thank you for reaching out. I know Caden Shepard had reached out about setting this up. I'm glad we were able to do this because I just wanted to prove to myself I could take the Saturday Sports Line on the road, and you helped me prove that.
No, well, we knew you could. You take your show on the road every Friday and Saturday night, and boy, last night I thought, I listened a little bit. I let out of the game just 5 minutes early because I had to get up at crack of dawn today. Listen to you guys on the way home. You guys were doing a great job as always, and
I appreciate that.
Just the whole atmosphere last night. Like I said before, probably one of the most fun football games I've ever seen. Just having you get there and having all the fans and the band, and so just a thanks to the whole community, the whole county for making it a great night for everybody.
And hopefully they'll bring that kind of atmosphere again in the winter time when it's time for the boys to be dribbling.
Yeah, we'll get there at some point.
Well, guys, I appreciate your time. Coach Chezem, Mr. Altman, always an honor to talk to you. You're 34 on the way, sir. Unbelievable. That's a long time to be doing what you do, and I'm glad you're with the Blue Jays. They've got a good guy in you.
Well, I appreciate the kind words and like to be there for a few more years yet.
Good. All right, well, we're going to take a break. We're going to go to the Where Are They Now segment with Harold Welter. I think you know him well, so don't go anywhere. This is the Saturday Sports Line.
You every single day, but you don't even look my way. I really wish you were obsessed with me. I miss you every single day, but you don't even know my name. I really wish you were obsessed.
It's time now for Where Are They Now? A look back at more than a half-century of local high school sports coverage on Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI. Today's program is brought to you by Osborne's Mini Mart in Knox. Now let's meet one of the local high school sports figures from more than 50 years of WKVI sports and find out where are they now?
Well, as we look back on more than 50 years of broadcasting high school sports in the Kankakee Valley here on WKVI, our guest is Matt Vessely, a 1987 graduate of North Judson-San High School, and we call this segment Where Are They Now? So, Matt, where are you now, and what are you doing?
Well, hi, Harold. Great to hear from you, and appreciate the opportunity to talk for a bit. I am currently working in Valparaiso, and I am the regional president for First Source Bank. I oversee what we do in Northwest Indiana and Lake Porter and LaPorte County. Been here just about 10 years now and enjoying it quite a bit.
Well, as we look back on your high school sports career, boy, you did a lot. You played basketball, you played football, you played baseball, I think?
I played golf.
Golf, that's right. And you still play golf, right?
Occasionally, as much as I can.
I want to look back on your high school career, and you played on 2 football teams that played in state championship games. You played on a basketball team that won a sectional championship. All those games that you played in and matches that you played in all those years ago, what is the one that stands out in your mind more than any others here all these years later?
Oh, wow. That's a tough question, and there's a lot of them. I think, and when I think about what stands out, I'd have to say it was the last football game, which was unfortunately a loss in a state championship game. And what makes it stand out is just the realization that was the end of that amazing run of 4 years of football with 4 losses. And wow. Just standing on the field with my teammates and realizing that we had done our best, but it was coming to an end, it stands out. It's not a positive standout, but it's definitely a very strong memory, and I'm fond of that memory because it's something I can look back on and kind of connects me to that time.
Well, that 86 team was really kind of very special because the 84 team that had gone to the state 2 years earlier, they had Kirk Mans and they had Haw and all of those guys. They graduate, and you are the quarterback 2 years later that goes to the state championship again. And so I think that 86 team really was really exceptional.
Oh, I think we surprised a lot of people, yes. And it was a really we might have surprised ourselves, to be honest. We knew we had lost a lot of talent, but I think what it proves is that if you've got a process and you've got commitment and discipline and good leadership and a great team, in which I would look back on that time and say that was just a really good team, you can do amazing things.
Looking back at that 84 team, you were a sophomore on that team that went to the state championship game, and when they had their 40th anniversary, they brought a lot of guys back and really celebrated. What do you remember about that season?
Oh, it was another amazing season and quite a grind, and we overcame a lot of challenges, and and had some great games against great teams. And I think, if I look back at that time, I was a youngster, surrounded by a bunch of older guys who were teaching me the way, and I really appreciated that. But there were just some tremendous games in that season, and that made it all fun.
As you were growing up there in North Judson, Matt, who were some of the people who were your role models or who helped you be successful in athletics?
Yeah, well, I was especially blessed, Harold, because I grew up in athletics. I mean, my dad was a coach and an athletic director and was always involved, and I had the great fortune of being around those sorts of people, him and his fellow colleagues and other leaders and coaches, from the time I can remember. I mean, I think I was the ball boy in 3rd grade through 8th grade, and I was at every practice, and I got to sit around the house when the coaches would watch film and have meetings and hear what they talked about. So, I mean, I got it from all sides, but it all connected back to my dad and his affiliation with the sports organization that was there in North Judson. And just when I think back of coaches, there's so many that taught me so many lessons. And, you've got Russ Radtke and Dave McCullough, who taught a lot from the head coach perspective about leadership and toughness and discipline. But so many other coaches along the way that I still look back on fondly, and fortunately can still interact with many of them when I go back to games and whatnot. Just great people all around. But the coaches and that staff there they embraced the kids, and the community embraced the programs, and it was just a magical time.
You talk about family. Tell us about your family. You've got some exceptional stories to tell in your own family.
No, I'm really proud. I mean, I've been married to my wife, Dina, for many years now, going on 27, I guess, and we have 4 children who are all doing exceptionally well. My oldest served the military for 4 years, so you've got that in common with him. He's an Army guy and was a medic in the Army and is still serving in the National Guard. My oldest daughter, another thing you'll like, Harold, she's in her final semester at the University of Alabama. So
I love it.
Yeah, that's a good story. Roll Tide. We get to go down and enjoy that environment and see the college level of a good athletic program and a great school. And then that's Katie, and Joe's my son, and Katie's my oldest daughter. I have 2 other daughters, Anna and Sarah. Anna graduated a couple years ago and is at Ivy Tech. And Sarah just graduated last year and is also at Ivy Tech, and she wrote a book recently. So I've got a published author and a very creative kid, and both Sarah and Anna, and a couple who are finding their way. And it's just a blessing to be able to enjoy that. And my wife and I do everything we can to soak up these moments.
We're talking with Matt Vessely, a 1987 graduate of North Judson-San Pierre High School, here on our Where Are They Now segment, and we'll be back to continue our conversation after this time out.
Need a game plan that has your day covered from tip-off to the buzzer? Osborne's Mini Mart in Knox has you covered. Whether you like to start out with a caffeinated full-court press or control the tempo with a Subway breakfast flatbread, Osborne's Mini Mart has what you need. Don't get trapped in the corner with an empty stomach. Call a quick timeout and get 2 hot dogs. Visit Osborne's Mini Mart in Knox at the corner of US 35 and Highway 8 East to guarantee you win the day.
Our guest is Matt Vessely, a 1987 graduate of North Judson-San Pierre High School. And Matt, let me ask you this. What did you gain from being a high school athlete that has helped you be successful in life?
There's so much, Harold. I've often said that, I attribute much of my success in my career and personal life to what I learned in high school sports. So many of the intangibles that are important in life and in business are taught right there on the football field or the basketball court, or maybe more importantly in the locker room with coaches and players as you talk about what you're doing or what you're going to do. But, when I think back about the values that go along with high school sports and learning teamwork, most importantly, And then some of the individual things like, discipline and hard work and loyalty, all those ingredients that it takes to make a special team. I learned that throughout the various sports that I participated in high school, and I'm grateful for that every day because it gave me a basis for what it takes to be successful in life.
Finally, Matt, let me ask you, what advice would you give to young athletes, let's say some of those middle schoolers that might be out there listening? What advice would you give them if they are looking to have the kind of success in sports that you had?
Well, there's a lot of things I'd love to tell them. The first one would be enjoy every second. And as I look back now, I wish I could have taken more time to appreciate how special that time is. So enjoy it. And that's first and foremost. I think the second thing would be, learn how to embrace the hard times. It's not an easy ride, and there won't be success at every turn, but what you're learning along the way will help you be successful in life. So look at those challenges as opportunities to learn and not just opportunities to become frustrated.
Matt, thanks so much for taking time and visiting with us here on our Where Are They Now segment. And thank you for all those years ago and all of the exciting times that you gave us to broadcast here on WKVI.
Well, thank you, Harold, and thank you and WKVI for broadcasting. Just hearing your voice brings back a lot of great memories of those days. And I think we were all very fortunate there in that little part of the world to have consistent coverage and participation that helped the whole community stay involved through WKVI and yourself. So thank you.
Our guest on Where Are They Now has been Matt Vessely, a 1987 graduate of North Judson-San Pierre High School. Join us again next week on the Saturday Sports Line for Where Are They Now?
Where Are They Now? A look back at more than a half century of high school sports coverage on WKVI has been brought to you by Osborne's Mini Mart in Knox.
Join us each Saturday morning on WKVI for the Saturday Sports Line and worldwide on WKVI.com.
Time now for our Tyler Roth WKVI Athlete of the Week, given in memory of Tyler Roth, a 2001 graduate of Winamac High School who died in an auto accident 1 week after his high school graduation. His legacy of hard work, outstanding citizenship, artistic success, and super athletic performance lives on with this award given every week to outstanding student athletes from the 8 schools in the Kankakee Valley. Today's award is brought to you by Web Printing and JT Shirt Shack in Winamac, and we'll tell you who's earned the Tyler Roth WKVI Athlete of the Week after this word from Web Printing.
Web Printing and JT Shirt Shack and signs of all kinds in Winamac is where all of your printing needs can be met. Whether it's paper, garments, or signs, Web Printing is your full-service printing solution. So if you're in need of embroidered or screen-printed garments, tickets or programs for your event, or documents for your business, Web Printing and JT Shirt Shack is the place to go. For the quickest service, best prices, and best quality, it's Web Printing and JT Shirt Shack in Winamac.
Our very first Tyler Roth WKVI Athlete of the Week for the 2024-2025 season is Kole Wilcox, a member of the football team at North Judson-San Pierre High School. Kole had an amazing game last night. He ran for 275 yards on the ground, had 4 touchdowns, with one of them being a 91-yarder. That made it the Stark County Co-op play of the game. Kole is the son of Holly and Chuck Wilcox, as we congratulate Kole Wilcox of North Judson-San Pierre High School, our Tyler Roth WKVI Athlete of the Week. Kole will receive a certificate, a history of the award, and a t-shirt commemorating his achievement, and will also be a future guest on the Saturday Sports Line. He will be eligible for our Tyler Roth WKVI Athlete of the Year award later this spring, which carries with it a plaque and a college scholarship, compliments of WKVI and the family of Tyler Roth. The Tyler Roth WKVI Athlete of the Week is brought to you by Web Printing and JT Shirt Shack in Winamac. I'll make sure to get with Mr. Wilcox this week. as that is going to wrap up the very first Saturday Sports Line here on KVB's WKVI for the 2024-2025 season. We are back, baby, and the tradition continues. Don't you forget that. Hey, follow us on all of our social media sites, on Instagram at WKVI Sports, on X at KVB Sports, and on Facebook at Sports to the Max for all Kankakee Valley Broadcasting sports content. All right, y'all, I'm tired. I got to go home and rest. I will talk to you later this week. Keep up to date on the sports checks. We are so happy to be back, and we are glad you are joining us for another historic season. Until next week, you enjoy the rest of your weekend. I'm Mitch Columbi. The tradition continues.
From the Pulaski Memorial Hospital studios of Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI, you've been listening to the Saturday Sports Line with Sports Director Mitch Columbi and Sports Analyst Chris McGowan.